Assalamualaikum dan selamat datang podcast yang berhenti menteri episod ke-21 bersama YB Rafizi.
Minggu ni tak ada salam-salam mengarut dah.
Tak ada YB. Saya dah bertaubat. Tapi kita ada seorang lagi tetamu istimewa kita pada malam ini yang misteri tapi dah diteka dengan tepat oleh...
Yalah, korang pakai gambar dia. Obviously orang boleh teka.
Tak minta gambar ni. Tak lain tak bukan
lah gambar lain kan. Barulah misteri.
Datuk Dr. Rafizi Hussein. How are you, Datuk?
Alhamdulillah, thank you for having me.
Ya. Jadi Datuk Dr. Rafizi Hussein adalah ex kepada ahli Bersatu Supreme Council.
What a way to start. Banyak-banyak dia buat, kau mula dengan dia. Bekas mantan. Allah.
No, your caption saya sambut saja. Okay. Kan? Cuma kalau saya boleh start lah, Doktor. Doktor keluar Bersatu pada bulan 7 bulan 10 2022. Doktor menyatakan bahawa antara sebab peletakan jawatan tu adalah punca masalah kesihatan, tugas lain. Cuma a few days selepas itu Doktor menyertai PKR. So sebenarnya sebab apa, Doktor? Mungkin your principal ke apa ke?
Tanya betul dia bagi leading question. Leading answer.
Tapi memang begitulah kesihatan masa itu. I was just recovering from quadruple bypass in 2019 dan aktif dalam politik pun tak banyak dah. And so my focus was primarily on writing, researching, and masa itu saya diberi tugas di MDEC to clean up the MDEC and put in the system. Biasalah macam tu. So that was I was focusing on. And then when it comes to politics, I was apart from cursory comments and op-ed dan begitulah penulisan dan TV appearance, so restricted. Tetapi bila saya melihat ada beberapa perkara yang tidak sehaluan dengan apa yang mula-mula saya berkecimpung dalam politik. I was never a politician. In fact, Raf can always tell you, I always like to use the word, I'm not a politician. And I was never a politician. I was always a technocrat. Telecom, IT, this and that. Masuk tu tahun 2015 for the first time when Tan Sri Muhyiddin was sacked. And that was the time that interest in politics came about. Tapi more on the administrative, setting it up, the constitution, the logo, getting people galvanized and support and strategy and tactical, macam itulah. Tetapi masa itu get a lot of macam Tun Mahathir at the time he was like reluctant to form a party. So tapi saya kata the only way to fight is to form a party, and the party must be a Malay based party, because any other party will be called as pengkhianat. And 5 principle lah: reform, justice, inclusiveness, moderation and progressive. So these are the core principle. So saya melihat pada masa tu that things are being is moving away and to become real politics. And then adalah banyak yang join the party at that time. So bila but at the same time I was talking to Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim on the political front, but the only thing that I said that politically I don't want to be active. Tetapi at that point of time I nampak 5 principle ni very congruent to PKR. Masa itulah. And therefore that's why I ni. Tetapi fast forward sekarang ni, this is cerita pelik. This is the first time I'm talking publicly, Raf.
Okay.
And I was never allowed to be active in party, PKR.
Okay.
And I was quite amazed that I'm not saying that I'm the best, I'm the good or whatever, tapi with all the experiences that I've have, takkanlah saya tak boleh contribute to the party. So bila saya cuba tanya mengapa, then the answer was, is a very interesting answer. This from a very senior PKR even now in the position, and that person told me that dia ni ragu-ragu dengan you, Rais, because you were in Bersatu, you were fighting, you were Tan Sri Muhyiddin's man. I'm always somebody's man. Either Tan Sri Muhyiddin's man, Tun Mahathir's man. But for Tun Mahathir, I'm Anwar's man. I pelik lah bila I jadi another person's man. Padahal saya Rafizi Hussein kan. So that's why when I got to know that, I didn't play any role lah in PKR. And until today, that is the truth. Because that was presented to me, bukan seorang senior leader, but 3 or 4 senior leader yang mengatakan, you were too close to Tan Sri Mohidin, you were too close to Tun Mahathir, and therefore they were suspicious of you. I said, Astaghfirullahalazim. I took a real move to masuk parti so that I can play a role, not politically, maknanya not so much as a position, power, this and that, but more of how can I contribute to the party. Tapi that was put a stop. And this senior leader told me, bukan 2 kali, 3 kali, banyak kali, and different sources. So I kata, okay lah, I'm fated to be somebody else's man.
Cuma another one before kita start segmen, Doktor. Doktor juga pernah bekerjasama dengan YB Rafizi waktu transition agreement untuk antara Tun Mahathir dengan Datuk Seri Anwar. Kalau Doktor boleh brief, kongsi?
Yes, that is a story of PH 1.0 lah. Masa itu saya banyak berbincang dengan Izza as well. And I remember in Pantai Hospital, while my wife is still in the hospital, about to deliver the baby, we were in a there's a particular coffee shop bawah sana dekat pantai, the Zionist Starbucks. So dekat sana we spent about 2 hours, close to 2 hours, discussing what is the way forward and making Tun Mahathir PM again. Why? Because I said that's the only way to bring out Datuk Seri Anwar, pardon this, that process semua. Masa tu, sebab masa tu kita DAP doesn't want to accept Tan Sri Mohidin as the PM candidate, if you remember correctly, Raf. But at that point of time, this is the only solution that we've had. And later, next day or the day after, Izza went to London to discuss that. So transition agreement was July 14, 2017. Tak boleh lupa because the next day my twins were born, and that night sampai tengah malam tu bergaduh dekat PKR punya office tu by everyone lah. And then Tun Mahathir kata, look, if that is the case, we will leave. Salahuddin Arwah, if you remember correctly, he got up. Dia kata tak boleh macam ni. He went a little bit, tak boleh macam ni. We need to do this. Then I asked, masa tu, if you remember, can you give us a 15 minutes, 30 minutes break? We'll come up with the agreement. So masa tu, Raf brought up an agreement. I brought up an agreement. And dalam agreement tu adalah banyak yang sebelah ni lebih fokus on Datuk Seri Anwar, if you remember correctly, if you don't mind, truthfully kan. In my agreement, everything that Raf mentioned, pardon, transition, apa semua tu ada mention, ada dalam ni. Tapi we also focus little bit on the a lot on the rakyat Malaysia. Why? My view is that this agreement will be leaked. In Malaysia, everything gets leaked. So I know it will be leaked. So that is why we suggested that. So Raf insisted to put 24 months. I said, do not put the 24 months there.
I can't remember 24 months as in
2 years.
Release of Datuk Seri Anwar.
No. Become the PM.
24 months. I insisted.
Yes, you insisted. I said, please.
Aku dah lupa sebenarnya.
But I said, no, if you do that.
Inilah sebabnya dia jadi open-ended tau.
Okay, let me explain to you, Raf. Because I said that then he'll be a sitting duck prime minister. So sebab masa tu, remember I'm not a politician, right? Saya betul-betul believe that everyone is in this together. I cannot unbelieve that, right? And the first one to sign the agreement was Tun. The second one was Kak Wan. The third one was Tan Sri Mohidin. The fourth one is Tan Kok Wai. And the fifth one was, I always call him Ustaz Masabu. And then the moment they signed, saya nak belah pergi hospital because my twins are about to arrive, kan? Then Mukris kata, you hold on first until the press conference is finished. So once the press conference is finished, this time I tak tanya siapa-siapa, saya cabut. I was tiptoeing into hospital Pantai masa tu. Then my wife said, oh, so you are here now. After all this, you are here now. Nasib baiklah the twins were not born yet and born the next day. It was a Saturday. pagi. Alhamdulillah. Kalau tidak, women are very good in history, no? Tak boleh dia akan lupakan saya atau maafkan saya. So that was the experience that I had with Raf. We always have some interactions, positives and this and that. And he had invoked, I had MA research, I still have, and self-funded. And we do a lot of prediction, apa semua tu. Begitulah masa tu. Was excited because it gave that, orang kata apa, the steroid to, wah, you are doing something for the nation. Tapi after some time, you rasa macam kena tumbuk besar tau. Why? Because lepas jadi PM ataupun ni, nak access dia orang pun susah. Because it's circumambulated, ditawaf oleh, ring fence by certain people. Begitulah. And then, interestingly with Datuk Sri Anwar also, before joining, I did told him the house dekat MCOP Mall tu, there's a one
Gasing.
So saya bagi tahu, Datuk Sri, I'm a very disappointed man in many things in this political ni. I'm joining you. Please make sure you take care of the people. Please take care of the people, because affordability is a very important thing. Raf, you remember, masa itu dia ada 5 perkara lah. I used to discuss about perut economy, if you remember. Tan Sri Muhyiddin used that quite a lot. Mitigation of cost, cost of living, affordable healthcare, affordable housing, dignified and quality jobs, and ada lagi satu ni, 5 perkara ni which is important. More than 90% of the people want that. So kita, we are going to make a change. Tapi bila kena tumbuk besar macam tu, lepas tu kali ni pula kena tumbuk lain pula ceritanya. Tak boleh trust because he's too close to Tun Mahathir and Tan Sri Muhyiddin. He's a Tan Sri Muhyiddin's man. So I pelik betul. So that's why Raf, that's why if you notice all these years after I joined, I've never been in the PKR punya mainstream politics. Ini revelation tu nak lah. But that's the fact. And I still do not understand why am I distrusted that way.
Okay, baik Doktor.
Tapi I was appointed Admiralty by Datuk Sri Anwar.
Baik. Okay. Baik, kita teruskan kepada segmen yang, jadi YB Raf sendiri pun minta guest yang kita jemput ni go through juga segmen-segmen yang kita biasanya.
Itu untuk membantu saya kurang bercakap bagi ni.
Clever.
Kau tidak letih.
Cuma kita akan fokus dekat ART dan juga Bersatu lah, I think. Jadi yang lain tu kita akan expedite sikit. Baik. Okay. Tak lain tak bukan, kita ada yang pertama, kita ada Beria
man.
Beria
ni maksudnya poyo.
Okay, kita
masa bantu poyo.
Kita tengok yang first. Ya, kita ada guna budak dan anak sendiri promote acara gaduh-gaduh. YB Raf perasan?
Tak, dia ada lah dekat timeline. Dia keluar, tapi saya tak adalah follow sangat. Dia duduk bergaduh dengan Jojo kan. Ni pasal Muay Thai,
betul.
Saya tak tahulah. Kan salah-salah sebut, esok dia ada kat office aku ajak bergaduh, letih tu. I think the rule of thumb is quite straightforward lah kan. Apa nama ni, yang bawah umur, yang anak ni tak boleh. Saya in my own case lah, some people mungkin suka lah dia jadi public figure, family semua. Saya, my greatest challenge is to hide my wife dengan anak, because they deserve a private lives, kan. Sebab yalah, kita, this is our job kan. Tapi masyarakat kita masih lagi belum berhati-hati bab itulah. Selalunya kita tak berhati-hati. Then this is actually to me crossing the line lah, kerana menggunakan and kalau program yang tak sensitif sangat tu tak apa. Ini Muay Thai tau, budak-budak Muay Thai semua. Tapi yalah, I suppose it's just about me. So memang semua orang tahulah dia macam ni kan.
Doktor, you're following?
I saw that on my timeline as well. First I was shocked, terperanjat tengok Bukan terperanjat beruk, terperanjat gorila tengok. Sebab budak-budak kan, it's too young to be ni. Kalau 18, 19, 20 pun tak apa juga. Ini is too young to start this thing. So again, in the context of today yang dekat sekolah semua celebrating the gangster, celebrating the nak bergaduh-gaduh ni, bully dan apa semua tu, maybe tak wajar lah. Itu pandangan saya. I will not allow my child, Kamal Hassan is here, but I will not allow him to do this because it is not something that you want for your child. Main bola tak apalah, badminton tak apalah, belajar tak apalah, kan? Tapi cara macam tu, orang kata peradaban timur tu hilang. And how do you nurture a children when you teach them to be like that in that? You saw that. I was shocked. I said, biar betul ni.
Ni Warzone ni dia sebenarnya pertandingan apa? Pertandingan championship Muay Thai budak-budak.
Mixed martial art.
Tapi untuk apa? Untuk budak-budak.
Kategori.
Ada kategori budak-budak. Yalah, dia society has to accept kita ibu bapa kena tahu-tahu sendirilah. Whatever kita buat tu sebaiknya jangan libatkan anak lah.
Anak kecil. And you know, MMA, they really hit your face, berdarah.
Beria for Yusof Azmi. Baik.
Beria.
Go next, YB. Kita ada Abah PMX.
Ini kena tanya Dr. Rais.
How's Dr.
Do you still keep in touch dengan Tan Sri Muhyiddin?
Very much. And Tan Sri Muhyiddin ni is to me lah, on a personal level, he's a very good man. And I have no complaints about him. And semasa dia jadi Perdana Menteri, I have quite easy access to him. Alhamdulillah. And if you remember during his PMship, there was an issue that I cannot support and I was very much against it was 5G, single wholesale network, which I believe it's a scam. And saya pergi jumpa dia a few times. Dia cakap, Rais, are you aware that this is we are doing this? I say, yeah, but it's a scam, Tan Sri. Give me 15 minutes, I will explain to you. And I explained to him why it was a scam. 5G single wholesale network was a failure in every country, in every territory and jurisdiction. Memang kecuali Brunei, but Brunei for their own peculiar reason lah, kecil 500,000 kan. So I always advocated multiple wholesale network. And when Dato' Sri Anwar became a PM, that was the only time lah I had a one-to-one session with him dekat apa nama ni, selepas tu completely ring fence, tapi that was the only time. Met him in the parliament for about 40 minutes, and I explained to him again why we cannot do the single wholesale network. Of course, the problem was inherited, and Alhamdulillah he agreed, but he did dual wholesale network. But when it comes to execution, I was not happy because it was given to a company that shouldn't be given. Should have been given to either Celcom or Maxis. So, lain cerita. Cambodian minister who came to Malaysia, he wanted to meet up with me because of the writings that I've done. Alhamdulillah, my op-eds went to Cambodia. So, and I started by saying that if people have brains, then they wouldn't go for single wholesale network. So the minister was shocked. At the time, Cambodia wants to go for a single wholesale network. And then I explained to them why. It was failure everywhere. Kenya lah, mana lah, everywhere. Rwanda, for God's sake. They did go to single wholesale network, lepas tu dia pulih balik multiple wholesale network. Tapi Malaysia kita masih persistent thanks to some guy known as Zafrul lah. But Tan Sri Muhyiddin was willing to listen, and he's very calm and composed person. Dia tak mudah melata. So those are the things that of course I did not agree about the takeover of the government. That's why in fact, if you remember, 3 or 4 days before those things happened, I was in BFM and I pleaded that it should not happen. Tapi it happened lah. But he's a good man.
So ni macam mana ni dia beria nak jadi PM balik ni? Confident Tan Sri Muhyiddin.
For this context tak boleh jadilah kot.
So macam ada saya My comment lah. Ini orang yang baik dengan Tan Sri Muhyiddin. How you going to navigate this? Beria Tan Sri Muhyiddin.
My view is this. Please don't write him off because he is a very cool and composed person. Satu. Keduanya, Raf, you know, you've done with Infoc and I've done with MA Research. MA Research have good accuracy when it comes to election prediction outcomes. The last 6 state to 95.6% accurate. When Terengganu kita kata 0 to ni, we got it right. We gonna whack lah sebelum tu. Our friends in UMNO was whacking me left, right, center. But it was the truth. The numbers are showing that this Perikatan Nasional, don't write them off, especially the Malay belt, and don't write them off. And
so kira beria ni kira
maaf tak boleh beria lah.
Wajarlah dia beria.
Wajar dia beria.
Yalah, so sebab Dr. Ais kata gaya macam Tan Sri Muhyiddin ada peluang untuk jadi PM.
The numbers are showing that, and unless the other start doing things that they're supposed to do. So if they do what they're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, but PAS is not supporting him.
Okay, that
PAS doesn't want him to become Prime Minister. So macam mana kalau the strength of PN sebenarnya daripada Malay Belt and Bersatu bergantung kepada PAS. Jadi bila PAS memang quite clear sekarang nakkan Datuk Seri Hamzah dan bukan Tan Sri Muhyiddin, how is that going to work out?
PAS ni normally will shift dia punya decision making as and when it is required for them. Dia menghalalkan cara kan. If you remember, PAS ni pagi halal, tengah hari haram, petang halal again. So and the story about PAS disagreeing to Tan Sri ni comes through either grapevine ataupun banyaknya Wan Saiful and Wan apa nama tu seorang lagi ni,
Wan Faizal.
Wan Faizal, So I'm not sure whether benda tu betul tidak. I think PAS will go for someone who they know will deliver. That is my experience with PAS. If the person can deliver and give that stewardship, they will go with them. But the present government, DAP will be there, 38, 40 macam tu. They are not going anywhere far away. Walaupun Chinese support adalah some challenges. Tapi the rest of them, they need to do what they're supposed to do.
So you're talking about PKR lah.
PKR and the lead lah.
Well, UMNO, you mean PKR and UMNO.
UMNO, I have always have this. UMNO, they keep on telling, recently this thing is emerging very very strongly. Dia kata dia tak sign dengan Pakatan Harapan. Dia tak sign dengan, dia kata they form the unity government at the behest of the Tuanku Sultan. And that's it. Dia tak bagi tahu that they are locked in. Tak ada. My view is that 6 months or few months before the GE16, UMNO will say that thank you for the time, we had a good ride and we are now going to go on our own. I think that's what's going to happen because it's not going to be the way that we think it would happen. So maybe after GE16 discuss balik lah, depending on the result apa semua tu. I live in a place called Bukit Jelutong and Shah Alam, and Malay middle income and high income pun ada, tapi they rata-rata have started talking about ini tak boleh jadi. This what's happening now tak boleh jadi. We need to do better. We expecting more. When you promise the reform must be crystallized in action. Tapi benda tu sama aja 2 kali 5 kan. So when the perkataan 2 kali 5 comes about, so why? And some of them have started saying that politicians are like diapers. We need to change the diapers for the same reason. So that's how the thing is. So do not rule this guy out. My view is that do not rule this guy out. A little bit of tweaking. Sabah Sarawak will follow the winner. You have 165 parliamentary seats sebelah sini. He will follow the winner. So do not rule this guy out.
Pesanan untuk Wan Ahmad Faisal. Tak adalah.
Interesting, this one Saiful, Mazli and Abu Hafiz. I was the one who brought them into Bersatu. and convince them. Because at the time Tan Sri lah bagi tahu we need good candidate to make them a candidate apa semua tu. Alhamdulillah all two of them became candidate. One Faisal was masa tu young, still very young and working for Sadiq kan. So and Mazli did win. One Saiful did not win at the time. But it's interesting how Tan Sri actually accommodated One Faisal a lot. And accommodated siapa nama ni? One Saiful a lot. And now what's happening is happening. That's why politics ni kadang-kadang very difficult to understand.
Baik. Jadi
I'm talking to someone who sacrificed almost all his life for party.
Beria.
Next.
Kita ada jangan main tampal stiker. Ni Ultras Negeri Sembilan, tapi dia tampal stiker di pesawat.
Stiker apa tu? Negeri Sembilan.
Stiker.
So dia kena tangkap lah.
Ya, kena tindakan. Ya, kena tangkap.
Ini airline apa ni? Ini dia memang set tanpa stiker, kemudian kawan dia kat belakang ambil
dia record
ataupun dia kantoi.
Dia record dan from record tu dia nampak
tak cerdik sikit lah. Kan kalau orang tak clean lah nak buat ni kan. Kalau nak buat graffiti tu kena clean sikit lah.
I never knew sticking stickers like this is offense the law. I never knew.
It's an offense. Okay. Because by extension, kalau you boleh tampal stiker, you boleh pergi spray colour semua tu habis. Beria tapi kurang sikit. Belum cukup.
Tak clean lah. Jenayah.
Baik. Lagipun sebab dia buat tak clean ni.
Okay. Baik. We go next, YB. Raya lambat lagi, tapi ada acara bermaaf-maafan.
Beria. Yang ni orang beria.
Dato' Rais, are you aware?
Yes, I'm aware of this incident. I saw that video where
itu menteri tuangkan air. Pasal ada orang ambil gambar cantik je dia tuang air.
Minister Nga telling like that, I will speak to your editor as well. Yalah, my first job was a journalist. I was a journalist in a paper called The Sun and then Star. Sun was a crime desk, which is good for politicians. I'm just kidding. Crime desk, and now after that I was in business desk. So banyak kali masa itu kena juga. Masa itu under era of Tun Mahathir. So politicians, ministers are demigod. So banyak kena macam tu. But now because of advent of social media and so on, you buat macam tu, kena lah. But I think the good thing is that Nga apologize. He entered the ego-free zone and apologize. Kalau kadang-kadang ada menteri yang very ego-full, tak nak kan, tapi yang ni nak tutup ni, dia minta maaf, okay lah.
Ya, saya ada pandangan lain sikit lah. Sebenarnya itu salah satu sebab kenapa orang Melayu ada suspicion dengan DAP. Sebab by the time Nga Koming minta maaf kan, you tak boleh nak salahkan rakyat lah. Yang some journalists say the same thing. Yang benda tu sebenarnya superficial. Because yang keluar, attitude yang keluar masa menegur wartawan semua, I will call your editor, single out utusan semua tu, itu sebenarnya a more truthful, orang kata truthful manifestation of what you think.
Because it was spontaneous.
Dan itu bukan perkara yang pertama kali berlaku kan? Jadi dia tidak membantu kos Pakatan Harapan lah dengan Melayu kan? Jadi kalau DAP tanya kenapa ada masalah, kenapa Melayu tak suka sebenarnya, kena hentikan benda-benda superficial macam ini. Dan sebahagian daripada sebab kenapa pengundi Melayu ada pandangan yang serong terhadap Nga Koming, kerana selalunya dia terlalu superficial. Jadi kalau nak Melayu, dia melayukan berpantun supaya mati semua. Because people see through gimmick yang kita buat ni. In fact, kalau kita sebagai ahli politik terlalu bergantung kepada gimmick, then you are in trouble. Kerana orang melihat yang di belakang gimmick itu kan. Jadi kalau dia bend backwards, cuba orang kata try too hard semua, tiba-tiba keluar kejadian macam tadi. Dia sebenarnya menguatkan lagi persepsi dan pandangan. Dan ini bukan orang PAS, orang PM tau. Ini pengundi Melayu atas pagar. Jadi dia mungkin nampak perkara kecil kan, dia sebut, kemudian dia buat ni, tetapi dia tidak membantu kos Pakatan Harapan dengan pengundi Melayu lah. Yang ini yang lekat tau.
Baik. Beria.
Walaupun dia beria lah, tuang air kan.
Baik baby. Okay, we go next. Kita ada dah jadi page Zoo Negara. Kenyataan terbaru Presiden PAS. You can see.
I always wonder kan, bila ada minda Presiden Datuk Seri Hadi Awang ni kan, bila yang ini betul-betul dia tulis ke ataupun penulis dia?
Jadi inside story tu.
Tapi yang ini memang menarik lah. Kira tak ada berapa ekor kat situ tu, ada berapa jenis haiwan. Ular ada, kemudian babi hutan, rusa, tapir, harimau, lembu, kerbau, kambing. Sudah berapa tu? 8. Kemudian ada cengkerik, lipas, belalang, katak, tikus 13. Kemudian itu campur lagi ular lidi 14. So babi hutan
ada ke bawah tadi.
Paling kurang ada 15 jenis dalam 5 perenggan.
Actually tak habis lagi bawah tu ada lagi. Tapi kita screenshot atas.
But interesting because Datuk Seri Hadi Awang ni, dia banyak suka gunakan perumpamaan binatang. Not only this time, even before this pun binatang aja.
Kerengga.
So he likes to use animal. So you are right. We do not know whether it's him. Sebab dia ni suka banyak baca buku kitab. Ataupun there's some National Geography biased people inside his writing team yang tulis benda ni. Saya tak tahulah. Tapi makes, again, for once I would say that we have to be careful lah, because memang the perumpamaan ular lidi dengan anaconda ni is not too far from the truth, because you want to see for the size of economy, GDP, this, that, military power, semua tu, betul lah kita ni small. Yang kita dapat kapal yang baru ni 58 tahun, 58 years. Yang they wanted to scrap the
from US
yang Navy ship tu, and they were given to us. So betul lah anaconda giving the ular lidi. But that's why we need to be very careful. This agreement ni we have to be careful lah. I think he talk about the agreement.
Yes, betul
lah.
Okay. Bawah tu we will go ada link nanti.
Tapi kalau berdasarkan rekod minda Presiden PAS setakat ini, ini yang paling beria dengan binatang. Kan dia tak pernah sampai 15 ekor. Baik, cuma okey lah. Cuma saya tak tahulah ini Datuk Seri Hadi sendiri ke apa kan. Perumpamaan dengan binatang ni tak semestinya kena. Binatang ni tak ada akal. Jadi binatang ni survival of the fittest.
Correct.
Kan? Jadi kalau dia letak macam ini, katakanlah PAS menjadi kerajaan satu hari. Kalau dia nak terangkan tentang perjanjian dagangan Malaysia dengan China, takkanlah dia akan nak bagi perumpamaan binatang sekali lagi. Masa dia Presiden PAS tak apalah kan. Tapi kalau dia pemimpin kanan kerajaan, reported satu dunia pasal perumpamaan anaconda dan babi hutan, letih kita. Kan, jadi sama ada ini ditulis ataupun minda Datuk Seri Hadi Awang sendiri, ataupun orang keliling dia, mungkin kena kurangkan sikit lah. Tapi dan kalau nak pakai perumpamaan binatang, carilah yang comel sikit. Kancil ke, ini babi hutan ni. Kerbau, kambing.
Maybe for local domestic consumption pun. Kan, orang sini suka dengar macam ni.
Baik. Beria weh.
Biar.
Boleh. Baik. Jadi I think kita habis yang kat situ.
Hari ni sebab ada Dr. Rais suruh dia rate lah. Tapi dia semua tak beria semua ni.
Semua tak beria. Yang paling banyak dia pun tak beria.
Nampak gaya macam Dr. Rais kata macam tak beria.
Tak beria.
No. I don't understand the concept of beria. So let Prof.
Okay. Dia top 2 bagi saya lah minggu ini. Top 2 ialah zoo dan juga bermaafan lah. Bermaafan. Okey lah, kita bagi bermaafan.
Means
beria.
poyo lah.
Sebab dia punya swing 180 darjah tu hebat lah kan. Daripada telling off dan terus kena minta maaf tak apa tau. I think memang wajar minta maaf. Tapi minta maaf dengan minum buat majlis makan dibayar oleh kerajaan ni lain sikit lah.
That's what I tweeted. Kata boleh bagi makan tapi under his own expense, not under the
ini
KPKP.
gayanya ni setiausaha akhbar ni menganjurkan majlis untuk bermaaf-maafan ni besar kemungkinan kerajaan bayar lah kan. Jadi agak beria lah. So yang ni aku bagi 4 bintang setengah.
Tahniah. Kita ke segmen seterusnya. Kita ada segmen kedua iaitu standing order. Kita akan review soalan-soalan lisan
dan benda yang di parlimen.
Dan juga benda
tapi kita tak masuk satu lah minggu ni. Minggu ni yang awal-awal ni yang bising-bising. Tapi mungkin kita terlepas bukan yang kau bodoh aku bodoh, peguam bodoh lah. Ya Allah, aku ada kat situ masa tu aku dah give up dah, letihnya lah masuk parlimen. Sana jerit bodoh, sini jerit bodoh, kau bodoh aku bodoh, kau bodoh kau bodoh. Letih betul lah.
Tak apa, YB dah cover tu.
Dah cover.
Okey, kita tengok soalan yang pertama dari Pulai. Minta Menteri Pelaburan, Perdagangan dan Industri menyatakan strategi kementerian untuk memastikan industri pusat data yang berpangkalan di Malaysia boleh menggunakan chip kecerdasan buatan AI yang berasal dari Amerika Syarikat seperti Nvidia dan China seperti Huawei Ascend di sebalik pertembungan blok ekonomi ini.
Apa jawapan kerajaan?
Kita ada Dr. Rais yang very background.
Kita tak semak apa jawapan kerajaan. Ini hari apa keluar ni? Sebab ini dalam konteks yang semua perkara yang berkaitan perjanjian tarif tu, ini akan ada kesan lah kerana
big impact.
Dia memang perjanjian itu secara jelas menyatakan perkara-perkara yang bersabit dengan teknologi ini perlu dirunding dan dibincang dengan US. Jadi itu satu direct impact dia kepada chip mana yang kita nak pakai lah, terutamanya kalau China, Huawei ke siapa-siapa lepas ni ada chip yang standing. Tapi pandangan saya yang lebih berbahaya kepada Malaysia sebagai sebuah negara yang kecil macam kita dan masih belum berupaya untuk membina teknologi sendiri ialah persoalan tech stack yang belum lagi dibawa oleh sesiapa pun. Kita tengok China dengan Rusia kan. Bila berlaku pertembungan, antara perkara pertama yang blok barat tekan China ialah dengan menghadkan akses kepada teknologi. Tapi China tak apalah, dia ada kemampuan sendiri, maka dia boleh bina teknologi dia sendiri. Rusia pun sama. Rusia bila perang Ukraine semua tu akses kepada teknologi. Jadi sekarang ini kita ada 2 blok teknologi atau tech stack. Satu yang dibina kebanyakannya berasaskan kepada blok barat, US lah kebanyakannya. Satu lagi yang sedang membangun dan pada satu ketika akan sama hebat. Sebab tu kita tengok ada OpenAI, ChatGPT, kemudian ada DeepSeek. Dan perkara ini akan terus berlaku kan. Sama macam Apple iOS dengan Android lah. Cuma iOS dengan Android dua-dua sebelah barat lah kan. 20 tahun mungkin lebih cepat daripada itu. Yang akan berlaku ialah dalam dunia ini akan ada beberapa tech stack. Kan? Tech stack ni kepada mereka yang menonton lah. Maksudnya teknologi asas yang yang digunakan untuk membina teknologi-teknologi lain. Dia kalau contohnya kita pergi negara-negara lain kan, ada negara pakai plug macam tu, ada negara pakai plug macam ni. Itu tech stack lah dari zaman 200 tahun dahulu, macam mana perbekalan elektrik dan sistem dibina kan. So sekarang ni sistem digital, ada tech stack masing-masing, ada yang barat, ada China. Kalau kita tidak berhati-hati melalui perjanjian itu, maka kita akan ada pergantungan kepada hanya satu tech stack. Bila bergantung kepada satu tech stack, maksudnya lagi kita diikat. Logically, negara seperti Malaysia sepatutnya agnostik pasal tech stack. Sama macam kita kan. Ada orang yang dia nak pakai Apple environment 100%. Baguslah. Tapi kalau jadi apa-apa, maka dia nak tukar tu, nak mula pakai Android semua, dia tak biasa tau. And sistem dia integrated around Apple lah. Ada orang yang laptop dia mungkin dia pakai MacBook, tapi phone dia pakai Android. So you allow different tech stack ni supaya kita menjadi as agnostic as possible. Pandangan saya lah, demi kedaulatan negara, untuk kita tidak bergantung dan kita selalu ada pilihan, sepatutnya kita agnostik dengan cara teknologi ni. Sama juga soal nuklear. Sebab itu dia bukanlah ada orang kata, alah kalau dah bagus tu US, kenapa nak pergi pasal teknologi lain. Itu pilihan kita lah mana kita nak pergi. Tetapi kita tidak boleh dihadkan hanya memilih satu kerana pergantungan kepada satu sistem teknologi itu akan menghadkan kebebasan kita untuk membina teknologi yang lebih agnostik. Jadi yang ini saya tak tahu apa jawapan daripada MITI, tapi itu kesan jangka panjang 10-20 tahun akan datang lah.
Do you agree with YB Raf?
Mostly, and in addition to that, sebab I accommodated data centers di Park kan, and I follow the data center deployment di Malaysia. Pertamanya, kita tidak boleh memastikan, sebab data center will decide on their own. Kalau American originated data center, they decide what they want to use. If it's China or other country punya ni, macam ada some Singaporean data center, they will use what they want to use.
But itu maksudnya, bila kita telah mengikat bahawa besar kemungkinan hanya GPU yang daripada US saja, pelaburan dan juga pemain daripada negara lain kata dia tech stack dia satu je, it doesn't fit into my tech stack, so saya tak boleh pergilah, saya tak berminat lah negara ni.
So we have to be neutral. That's why I always talk about active neutrality kan. Kita perlu neutral in Raf kata teknologi agnostik kan. That is exactly what it should be. Sama macam dulu Ericsson kan 5G. Ericsson as if Ericsson is the best in the world. I'm not saying Ericsson is not good. Ericsson has been in Malaysia for very longest of time. Memang bagus dia orang ni. Tetapi there are other technologies available in the market, like Huawei, like other provisioning. So masa tu dia kata 5G apa, kita nak reduce the digital divide between urban and rural. Dekat rural ni siapa sangat yang pakai 5G? Kalau 4G plus pun cukup dah. 5G dekat bandar pun is only the industry apa semua tu. So there was a lot of false narrative, kalau kata Trump fake news, yang diutarakan untuk justify the 5G single wholesale network. So kalau coming back here, macam dekat Huawei, they were stopped from using iOS and also Android. They didn't stop that. They did the HOS, Harmony Operating System, very quickly. And I've interacted with Huawei banyak kali, and I've sat down with the vice president of Huawei R&D and science, and I found out that kita sibuk-sibuk, katakanlah one contohnya, kita sibuk-sibuk dengan 5G. Until today that thing is not settled pun. We always talk about COPA, coverage of area tu. But COPA is not the right indicator. The right indicator is the adoption rate. Kita punya adoption rate is one of the lowest in the world. Tapi in terms of COPA, because every phone ni ada 5G, cover dah. Tak ada macam tu. So if you look at Huawei, cara dia buat in terms of technology apa semua tu, they are very, they know, they proactively do things. You ban, 6 months later they had the Harmony Operating System. And when I talk to them, I said, okay, now we are going in the area of AI. Macam mana? I said, then he was telling me AI, basic AI, then kita ada apa nama ni, generative AI, lepas tu agentive AI, and the last one he call it super intelligence, I call it self intelligence. In my book I've written about this as well. So this is the pathway. Then I ask, if the GPUs are restricted apa semua, which is going to happen, this was long before it happened, what are you going to do? We have our way. So maknanya dia dah preemptively know benda-benda ni akan berlaku. So in the context of Malaysia, we must continue to be neutral. Dia tak boleh, sebab kalau kita tak neutral, then we are restricting our inbound investment. Dalam ni agreement ni, dia disebut even inbound investment pun kita kena
kena ada mechanism to check.
Dalam teknologi, I think our Minister Gobin today talked about consult. So my question is, aku nak kahwin seorang, aku kena consult dia sebelum aku kahwin. Pasal apa pula begitu? Why should we consult a known apa nama ni, a country like America who has never been in the best win-win situation for everyone?
Chances kalau ada teknologi yang lebih baik, contohnya daripada China lah sekarang kan, and there is a real rules of that. Dalam 10-15 tahun akan datang, teknologi yang mungkin lebih baik dan akan lebih baik daripada teknologi barat adalah teknologi China. Chances kalau kita consult, tak boleh lah. US akan kata tak boleh. Jadi kita nak buat apa?
Ataupun drag. Ataupun drag. And kalau kita tak setuju dengan mereka, they will invoke the clause where they have the right to apa nama ni, terminate, and then they will impose tariff again. Then what is that reciprocity? That's why I said, ada orang tanya lah, what do you think of this reciprocal agreement? I said, this is the most unreciprocal agreement.
Baik. Nanti kita semak tapi ialah jawapannya dah ada YB. Jawapan kementerian selalunya sangat general lah kan.
Memastikan Malaysia kekal berkecuali dalam persaingan teknologi AI.
Memastikan. Kita akan kata yalah, aku pun pernah jadi menteri juga dulu kan. Kita akan cakap kita akan memastikan lah.
Dalam jawapan dia ada mention pasal the Silicon Vision. So dia kata pada masa yang sama
Silicon Vision,
ekosistem infrastruktur dan inovasi seperti R&D chip AI melalui VC Silicon dan kerjasama dengan pemain global seperti ARM.
Yes.
Dulu MITI lah yang paling tak setuju tu dengan Silicon Vision, dengan sebab tu sebut Silicon Vision tak apalah.
Okay.
Tapi yalah, dia akan menjadi baguslah Suhaizan tanya soalan ni. Kerana soalan-soalan ini sebenarnya sepatutnya soalan macam inilah yang mencambahkan lagi diskurs dalam masyarakat, supaya kita jangan terima bulat-bulat tau yang dimaklumkan oleh saluran rasmi.
Baik, okay YB. Kita ada another one question dari Paguh.
Dari Tan Sri. Yang ini tak apalah, bagi Dr. Rais jawab.
Saya baca dulu Datuk. Paguh minta Menteri Pertanian dan Keterjaminan Makanan menyatakan apakah strategi komprehensif kementerian bagi menangani inflasi makanan serta mencegah fenomena double burden, iaitu kemiskinan dan malnutrisi dalam kalangan isi rumah B40 yang kini membelanjakan 71.9% pendapatan bulanan untuk keperluan asas berbanding 64% T20 demi menjamin akses makanan berkhasiat.
Kalau saya mak sabu, saya tahu je macam mana nak jawab. Tapi
Cuba jawab.
Tak tahu apa jawapan mak sabu lah, Dr. Rais.
This keterjaminan makanan has been my favourite subject for the last 4-5 years. Saya banyak buat penulisan dalam ni, tapi I have given up di Malaysia. Why? Because I always say that food security is a big issue in Malaysia. You know chili?
Ya, cili.
Kalau di Malaysia, kalau kita tak makan, kalau tak ada cili, kita mati. Cili itu is everywhere. Sambal ke, kari ke, kuah ke, semua. Tapi we import 73% of our chili requirement. Beras, kita declare 61%, 62% self-sufficient.
Sebab tu kita orang duk suruh orang tanam cili secara besar-besaran. Sebab it doesn't make sense. Negara yang banyak makan cili, kita import cili.
And chili is the easiest plant to grow. Because our ground is terra rosa, very fertile. Padi kita kata 62% self-sufficient. Tapi sebenarnya 48%. Delta tu kita smuggle from Thailand. Ini semua data yang when I was an advisor dekat Menteri Pertanian, where all my advisors was not listened to lah. And then the third one is seed self-sufficiency. Benih. Do you know what's our seed self-sufficiency? 17%. 17% saja seed ini kita self-sufficient. Yang lain tu kita import. Segalanya bermula daripada benih. And kita benih pun kita import. So this is a real serious problem. And unfortunately menteri berubah, kementerian dinama cara yang bagus lah, keterjaminan makanan, agriculture, asas tani.
Itu aku yang letak nama tu.
Keterjaminan makanan, which is a very good name. But
Mas Abu mungkin tak puas hati lah kan letak nama keterjaminan makanan. But that's what it should be doing lah.
But the results are not there. That's the problem. Apa yang macam when I was in that agency, I tried to bring some changes lah. Macam dekat India. Let's take India as an example. They have 1.4 billion people, right? And dia orang makan beras ni 3 kali ataupun 3.5 times more than Malaysian, average Malaysian. Dia mula-mula dia ada gunung Everest. Lepas tu kuah apa semua tu dia makan. Banana leaf. Then gunung Kilimanjaro dengan yogurt apa semua tu 3.5 times more than us. But do you know they export 25 million metric ton every year. Every year. And cara dia orang buat tu bukannya very sophisticated. Automation, mechanization and IR. Itu saja. I went to the place called Telangana dengan Hyderabad, tengok mata kepala sendiri. Nak bawa masuk dia orang sini punyalah payah dengan all this bureaucracy and so on. So this is a serious issue. Very, very serious issue. Dan dulu we talk about B40, T20 and so on. I do not know why people are still talking about B40, T20. Sebab bagi saya, when kita buat kajian di MA Research, B40 sekarang ni jadi B70. M40 jadi M20. T20 jadi T10. Sebab after the COVID dengan geoeconomic journey crisis, a lot of people slide down the knee. And I think Raf also have spoken before that this classification may be archaic and needed to be changed. So I think this is a big problem. This must be ini. And if we continue to rely on import, katakan ringgit jatuh, koyak kita. And the one who's going to be hit hard is the B70. Sebab sekarang ni saya pergi ke grocery ya. Dulu saya tak tengok bil lah. Sekarang saya tengok bil lah. Apa yang troli tu, dulu sepatutnya dalam lebih kurang 300-400 ringgit. Sekarang ni 700-800 ringgit. And I ask them, hey, I'm buying the same thing. Why is it so expensive? Kata Tok, so I always go to the place. Tok, harga barang dah naik. Whether it's kiwi ke, even buah-buahan tempatan pun, pisang berangan pun naik. So this is a very serious issue for the next government, for the next election. Somebody who can address this food security will have a better chance of winning.
Cuma yelah soalan ni pasal food security dengan malnutrition. Ialah bagus sebab Tan Sri Muhyiddin bawa perkara ini difokuskan. Cuma malnutrition ni memang Malaysia, kalau untuk kanak-kanak bawah 12 tahun, I think Malaysia adalah antara yang paling teruk di Asia Tenggara. But saya rasa is soalan ini ditanya on the hypothesis bahawa keluarga miskin tidak mampu membeli makanan. That's basically hypothesis, and which is not necessarily accurate, I think. Sebab kalau kita tengok, dia ada faktor-faktor lain yang juga mempengaruhi. Sebahagiannya ialah faktor sosioekonomi. Oleh kerana banyak ibu lah sebenarnya bekerja sekarang. Jadi anak-anak ni dia tak makan perfectly tau lunch semua. Sebab bila ibu bapa bekerja, lepas sekolah tu dia kena pandai-pandai sendiri. Dia tak macam zaman saya dulu bila mak kita full time housewife kan. makan tengah hari tu memang dia masak betul-betul. You makan nasi betul-betul tau budak-budak. Sekarang and then juga yalah, ada juga gaya hidup budak-budak ni, dia suka makan jajan lah, junk lah, dia makan oden ke apa, fish ball lah semua kan. Sebab itu kalau ikut daerah, daerah yang paling teruk bantut ni ialah Putrajaya. Putrajaya ialah household income paling tinggi tau di Malaysia. So part of the reasons, like my guess, ialah sebenarnya kerana lifestyle. So then we have to figure out, kerana selain daripada isu kos sara hidup, harga barang mahal ni betul, tapi kalau kita tengok model di Putrajaya, walaupun sebenarnya pendapatan isi rumah tu lebih tinggi daripada tempat-tempat lain, tapi insiden bantut, stunting paling tinggi juga di Putrajaya. So my guess is kerana kebanyakan orang di Putrajaya contohnya ialah dua-dua ibu bapa bekerja. Jadi dia habis sekolah, and I know my son sekolah Putrajaya sebelum ni kan, bila kita observe, dia kadang-kadang habis sekolah tu dia kena pandai-pandai sendirilah sebelum dia nak pergi sekolah agama ke apa. So it's not a proper meal, it's that bit yang lunch kena proper meal semua itu yang dia jadi double challenge. So the double burden ni bukan saja soal kemiskinan and malnutrition, is actually double challenge to make sure that they eat exactly what they should be eating for the nutrition. Kalau tidak, then you have a problem. So tapi yalah, we don't hear it enough lah. Saya ingat dalam kajian ada je jawatan kuasa yang bentangkan laporan semua tu, tapi saya ingat soal malnutrition ni yang lebih berminat mungkin doktor-doktor je kan. Jadi then doktor-doktor pula daripada kesihatan ke apa, dia banyak masalah penyakit lain lagi. I mean the fact that anak-anak kita, our younger generation ni is facing malnutrition, whether because of cost of living or whether because of socio-economic reason macam itu, dia belum escalate ke peringkat negara lagi lah.
The UN study on the urban poor talked about this, yang mengatakan terbantut, stunted growth, not only in height but also brain.
Yeah lah, of course, and dia akan mula ada kesan kepada brain lah.
That's a big issue. And then what they found out in urban poor, in KL especially, dia kata they eat instant noodles.
Instant noodles.
Very easy to get.
You cannot have more harmful food than instant noodle in your tummy.
Janganlah saya jual instant noodles sekarang. Walaupun dia tak laku sangat.
So dia
tapi actually budak-budak sekarang dia suka instant noodles semua ni kan. Jadi I think kalaulah jabatan kerajaan ke apa beri perhatian yang lebih, sebenarnya macam mana nak menukar gaya hidup apa yang dimakan itu.
But there's a solution for instant noodle pun.
Okay.
In Sabah, there's a young entrepreneur called Shah. You know what he did? He took all the leftover sawi, this and the vegetable ni, then he converted that into instant noodle using that. Maknanya not the normal instant noodle lah, yang which is harmful to health. And this one unfortunately is a little bit more expensive. Tak ada economics of scale. Maybe the government should start looking at helping this startup to do the right thing and help them to get the right equipment, give them that economics of scale, and then there must be a take up. So maknanya kalau bila dia nak bagi makanan kepada kat urban poor ni, this particular noodle ni, which is very nutritious compared to the completely no nutrition here, and this could be a solution.
Lepas ni kena saman dengan Nestle, dengan Mami semua. Selamba berani korang hina instant noodle kan. Itu Gen Z dan juga budak Gen Alpha punya favourite tu kan.
Raf, berterus terang lah walaupun ia ni pahit. Kata Rasulullah.
Saman dia tau, bukan saman kita.
Baik YB, okay. Kita 57 minit.
Kita tak bergerak masuk hidup ni keras.
So having said that, kita masuk ke segmen seterusnya. So ini main segmen lah Dato' yang berkaitan isu-isu. Cuma mungkin saya boleh sentuh sikit lah untuk YB, sikit saja. Seminggu Fleximat. Kalau YB nak share apa-apa your thoughts.
Okay lah, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Cuma dia menambahkan pening kepala baru. It's like Aku dapat anxiety attack tiap-tiap hari sebenarnya.
Saya kali tengok ni.
Sebab tiap-tiap jam kena check sales kan. Yelah, what we are doing, yalah, to me orang mungkin katalah ni hobi bangang ke apa kan. Ekonomi ni dia ada banyak perkara lah kan. Satu dasar yang kerajaan buat. But there's also the market. The market ni dia supply and demand. Jadi cara konvensional kita setakat ini dalam menangani kos sara hidup ialah kerajaan akan bagi bantuan. Bila kos sara hidup tinggi, tak apa kita bagi sara, tak apa kita bagi duit. Baguslah. But there's a but to it.
Okay.
Kalau kita tak manage the market part of it, and saya faham lah untuk regulate market ni tak mudah. Sebab orang kata kenapa tak boleh kawal harga, letih nak. Sebab kalau macam itu kita kena tetapkan setiap harga barang itu, then you stop becoming a market economy lah kan. Contohnya bila kerajaan bagi sara, bila kerajaan bagi SDR yang lebih tinggi, you are pumping the money into consumer, kan, consumer market kan. Saya tak pasti sama ada kita ada ke tidak. Cek dan pastikan syarikat-syarikat semua ni yang akan dapat durian runtuh 1 bilion, 2 bilion, suntikkan wang ke dalam market mereka, kita cek ke tidak dia naikkan harga ke tidak, dia turunkan harga ke tidak. Jadi oleh sebab itu, kalau kita tak manage soal pasaran, kita menormalisasikan kenaikan harga itu secara berpanjangan. Sebab as a society kita tak challenge jual kopi RM15, jual lunch RM10, RM15, kita tak challenge, kita menerima. Dan bila kerajaan pula responsnya hanyalah tak apa, kamilah maha pemurah dan kita bagi duit tu duit cukai tau. So unless you fokus juga kepada soal consumerism dan juga soal pasaran lah, dan that's exactly what we are trying to do. Tapi dia berpeluh lah. Saya bagi contoh kan, dalam lebih kurang seminggu lah Fleximat setakat ini kan, dan esok kita akan buka kesum kan. Atas kertas kita roughly know lah, and the margin is very thin. Kalau ambil coffee kan, katakanlah latte, I think latte is sold at RM4.90 kan. Cost dia lebih kurang RM4, 90 sen. On paper 90 sen out of RM4 is not too bad lah. It's almost nearly double digit punya margin. But and setakat ini lepas minggu, terima kasih rakyat Malaysia, memang baik. Maksudnya the food traffic yang masuk semua tu paling kurang 400 orang sehari masuk, which is banyak tau for kedai runcit. 400. Tapi saya faham lah, kerana 400 kalau you jual kopi satu cup tu you hanya dapat dalam 90 sen. Kos dia RM4, jual RM4.90 kan. Kalau 400 tu baru dapat berapa? Contohnya kan, berbanding dengan contohnya ada syarikat biasa, kedai biasa, kos dia RM4, dia jual RM12. So maksudnya kalau margin tu berbanding 90 sen margin satu cup, berbanding dengan kompetitor jual satu cup tu, kalau kos RM4 dia jual RM12, dia punya margin tu RM8, which is 10 kali ganda. Jadi dari segi itu Alhamdulillah, dari food traffic itu memang saya berterima kasih kepada semua lah, dan nampaknya dia menyatukan rakyat Malaysia segala parti. Dan because kita tengok semua reaksi dan semua ni yang pergi tu semua ada, PKR pun ada, Bersatu pun ada, PAS pun ada, UMNO pun ada, Cina pun ada, Melayu ada, India ada. So maksudnya sambutan, kalau kedai itu harga rendah memang mendapat sambutan. Cuma we have to see lah sama ada finally dengan that kind of food traffic dia masih lagi boleh memberi pulangan berdasarkan konsep perusahaan sosial. Sebab untuk scale up, saya nak kena buktikan dengan harga macam itu, dia masih boleh beri pulangan antara 4 ke 5% setahun kepada penyumbang capital, equity partner, dan barulah equity partner tu rasa betul lah, daripada saya letak duit saya dalam bank, saya dapat 3.5% atau tabung haji ke ASB, lebih baik saya bersama-sama mengusahakan jadi capital contributor kepada satu social enterprise, because I get the best of both worlds. My capital, saya dapat return yang setanding, tapi dia membantu rakyat, harga lebih rendah, bagi kerja, semua tu. That setakat inilah seminggu, teori itu masih lagi kekal, masih lagi terbukti. Cuma baru seminggu. Itu yang aku kena anxiety attack tiap-tiap hari tu kan. Tak ada orang kan. Ataupun orang masuk tapi tak beli kan. Jadi but let's I want to go through it. Sama juga dengan kesum, bila kita jual nasi, minyak, ayam masak merah RM4.9. Jual nasi lemak RM4.5 macam tu. Semua bawah RM5 semua kan. Orang belilah, dan saya sebenarnya kalau melihat kepada Fleximart, saya rasa memang ramai orang, but the margin tu is too thin. Dan tapi yalah, kalau kita tak buat macam itu, dia tak boleh jadi a message to the market. Sebab sebahagian daripada niat kami lah ialah untuk membuktikan bahawa you have to challenge the status quo. Kalau tengok kepada parti-parti politik, kadang-kadang frust jugalah, kerana kalau bab nak bertukar kerajaan ni bermati-matian untuk challenge, untuk challenge status quo. Tapi bab harga barang, dia tak nak challenge status quo tu tau. We need to challenge the status quo lah. So kita berharap lah the model tu dalam 1-2 bulan itu memang terbukti. Then I think kita boleh scale up, kerana yang berminat tu ramai. Dan Melayu, Cina, India semua sokong. Saya paling menarik lah, ada seorang kawan baik saya, orang kaya Cina. Memang kaya lah kan. Saya dah kenal lama lah kawan saya ni kan. Dia tak minat politik ni tau. Dia mengacau aku, tanya, bila lagi nak buka kedai? Bila? Saya, apa kena dengan kau? Ya, millionaire. Ini buat apa you berminat? Dia kata, dalam Buddha, bagi makan orang pada harga yang murah itu sangat cukup baik. Aku dah tua.
Which is true.
Aku dah tua. Aku nak tolong. So, kalau you can prove this, I'm willing to put my money. Because I'm old, dia kata. There's no point of all this money. Kalau nak bagi charity saja, dia kata charity yang paling baik ialah sustainable dan bagi makan orang pada harga yang murah. Jadi the interest tu banyak. So I'm quite positive kalau contohnya the model can be proven in the next 1 or 2 months. Then I think we can start pushing for more supaya we challenge the market. We challenge the status quo pasal harga, pasal food inflation semua ni lah kan. So sebab tu dia tak boleh buat style kerajaan, buat kedai rakyat satu Malaysia semua. Dia model isu mesti boleh berdiri atas kaki sendiri. Then it's financially sound, operationally sound, sebab dia memang mendapat tempat di kalangan rakyat. Dan pada masa yang sama, operasi itu baik Fleximart ke baik Kesom is so efficient that you can operate at that very thin margin and really rely on volume. Tapi yalah, kita tengoklah macam mana kan. Cuma penat. Ini hari ni aku tak check lagi berapa ni. Okay. Kita better than yesterday doesn't mean it's good. Okay. So memang ini semua muka Haziq pun banyak membantu dekat Kesom. Saya bagi tugas semua dia orang ni kan. Dia kena double up. Yang ini buat kerja tu, yang ini 2-3. Semua dah serit dah. Tadi ada seorang budak tu kata, serit dah, lepas ni aku tak nak buat kerja ni dah. Kan. So but kepada yang menonton, I think it has been a wonderful 1 week for me lah. Kerana actually orang Malaysia ni boleh bersatu hati tanpa kita campur aduk politik tau. Sebab bab ini memang betul. Saya selalu dapat komen-komen, saya tak sokong YB, tapi ini saya sokong. Kan? Aku nak kata tak payahlah cakap tak sokong aku. Bukan pergi je lah kat kedai tu. But you know, as a social experiment so far, dia melangkaui apa namanya expectation saya lah. But we'll see how it goes lah in the next few days.
It's all about affordability.
Affordability.
The moment it is affordable, good.
Tapi takut tak affordable for us lah.
You know, arwah ayah, one of the things that he has a shipping forwarding company, then juga a retail shop. So I always see him how he does business, because I always tell him, retail ni masa kecil-kecil lagi. I was a businessman since the age of 13 or 14. I jual nasi lemak, then I actually have my assignment copied, and I charge them 50 cents, and from all the money I then give.
Is that legal?
It's illegal. But on top of that, of all the money that I collected from nasi lemak business and copying assignment business, I actually become along. I gave money to loan and dapat ni. Then from 5, I think there was a hadis mengatakan riba is one of the. Then I kata semua halal. Macam tu. So I went through this cycle with my father, and dia punya retail secret is very simple. Dia kata it all depends on competitive sourcing. How do you source your things that you are reselling in the retail front? And macam orang biasanya, the lorry or whatever comes and send dia punya barang, and then they take. Tapi in my father's case, he goes to KL almost every day. So dia pergi KL, the shipping forwarding business kan, dia pergi KL, dia pergi tempat yang dia boleh ambil yang wholesale yang macam lagi-lagi murah. So then he widens dia punya margin lah, and very efficiently run lah. You know, Mama Putra, kedai Mama. Mama ni dia very particular. Macam drinks, I'm surprised it's 90 cents margin, because kalau you tanya any typical restaurant owner,
no, this is barista coffee. Barista.
That's fantastic.
Barista coffee 490, which is sold tempat lain RM12 because you know the coffee bean itself sebenarnya satu cup tu lebih kurang RM1 tau. The coffee bean itself, so you campur lah semua yang lain, campur.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because
so that's why orang lain jual basically 200-300% margin lah kan.
True. Okay. I will go. Where is this located?
Shah
Alam dekat section 7.
Okay.
Tapi ada satu benda lah yang kita tak terfikir langsung lah. I mean it's good lah. 1 week, 1 minggu yang lepas ni dah bagi banyak perkara yang saya tak pernah fikir langsung lah. Kumpulan pengunjung paling besar lah. Kita ingat sebab kita buka dekat section 7 tu dekat dengan UiTM. Kita ingat pengunjung yang paling besar ialah student. Tak lah.
No.
Pengunjung paling besar ialah kapal-kapal Melayu tua. So saya tengah study ni, macam kenapa kapal-kapal Melayu tua, pakcik-pakcik pensioner ni, dia suka pergi flight simat, suami isteri, dia beli kopi, dia makan kat situ.
Baik-baik. For the student, I think you need to do a lot of TikTok. There is a mee goreng shop dekat sana, somewhere in Shah Ado ni. Dia kata he spends RM3,000 on the TikTok, and dia punya returns within 3 weeks. More, like quadruple the thing. So kadang-kadang student kan, dia nak macam tu. Lagi-lagi nowadays generasi Alpha lah, Z lah, macam-macam kan. So they TikTok ni. So maybe lah.
Yelah, we are studying the behaviour lah. Sudah masuk, bukan sudah masuk, dia banyak, tapi itu memang given lah. Itu tempat UiTM kan. Cuma yang kita tak terfikir langsung, suami isteri couple pensioner. So I think they like the moments together, quietly minum kopi. So that's something yang you know, I've done for clients sebelum ni kan. Saya tak pernah terfikir lah sebenarnya pensioner couple ni ialah satu market yang besar.
They have all the time
and actually they have the money. Kan.
Okay, baik Baby, having said that, esok kita ada pembukaan kesum. Jadi I think ni tak ada apa-apa explanation lah, just kena datang ramai-ramai pukul 9. Pukul 9.
Ini yang orang tanya lah, ada banyak yang hantar mesej kat saya. Ini betul ke YB you boleh jual nasi minyak, ayam masak merah bawah RM5, kemudian semua bawah RM5? Ini betul ke? Sebab kita orang tak boleh. Itulah eksperimen dia, guys. Dia sebenarnya cost dan inefficiency yang paling besar dalam F&B ialah di dapur. So untuk kita memastikan you boleh operate secara efisien dan menjual pada margin yang sangat rendah macam itu, kita mencuba cara baru di dapur lah. Kan? Bukan saya memasak lah. Kalau aku masak memang harga mahal lah. Sebab aku sembab kan slow semua kan. Jadi kalau nak ikut biarlah a new idea antara kesum dengan fleximat. Fleximat ni tumpu kepada flexi lah. Maksudnya that's why you have to use machine. Kalau detergent tu dia nak beli 1 liter, dia boleh beli 1 liter kan. Kesum ni sebenarnya ada, hopefully lah, the new way of looking at kitchen. So kalau nak tahu sila datang kan. Esok lah saya akan ada dalam
pukul berapa WB?
Pukul 8 sudah ada.
Pukul 8 ada.
Pukul 8 sudah
ramai
ada.
Pukul
8 sudah ada. Tapi tempat tu kecil sikit. Dia payah nak cari parking. Tapi sebab memang kalau dekat kawasan working class, itu location tu bagus lah. Dia betul-betul di tengah-tengah Pandan Indah. Dia ada office, dia ada kedai. Kemudian dia sebenarnya berjiran juga dengan kawasan perumahan.
Betul.
Dan saya berharap juga kita dapat capitalize on market kumpulan pensioner ni lah. Kan, sebab saya selalu buat counter bergerak ni kan. Sebenarnya pensioner ni ialah satu soal kos kan, makan semua ni mahal sekarang kan. Kedua, dia orang duduk 2 orang je. Dia nak memasak umur 70 lebih, memang tak berbaloi lah. Kalau dia nak order ikut Grab, mahal lah sekarang Grab. Sebab satu, harga makanan tu dia dah kena reflect cost kepada margin Grab tu. Kemudian delivery lagi kan. Jadi salah satu tujuan juga ialah kita nak tengok macam mana dia boleh serve kumpulan-kumpulan seperti itu, iaitu kumpulan pension yang duduk kat rumah. Of course, sebab tu orang tanya, YB kenapa tak boleh letak kat Grab lagi? Sebab the model doesn't work kalau letak kat Grab. Sebab Grab functions rasanya lagi tinggi harga tu, lagi banyak margin dia. Jadi kalau harga barang makanan tu terlalu rendah, dia tak berminat pun. Ni tak ada margin untuk saya kan. Jadi takkan kesum kita buat nak jual nasi lemak RM15 dan dia tak membantu orang lah. Jadi sebab itu delivery tu, okay, we will figure out how to do delivery later on. Buat masa sekarang ni, dalam sebulan pertama ni kita nak make sure kan yang operational tu dia betul-betul efficient. Kemudian it gives the margin and it gives an indication sebenarnya volume macam mana. Macam Fleximat, kita roughly tahu tiap-tiap hari memang ada lebih 400 orang masuk. So at least we know the foot traffic is there lah. We want to see the same dekat Kesum. And once I think 1 bulan lebih tu we get the data, then itu membantu kita untuk design delivery service tu macam mana nanti, terutamanya kepada kumpulan-kumpulan yang pension yang tua ni. Sebab dia memang tak guna dia keluar rumah untuk dapatkan makanan untuk dia 2 orang je. Dan kalau dia nak order Grab dengan harga makanan yang ada kat Grab tu sebenarnya mahal untuk dia.
Okay, YB, duly noted. Okay.
Esok kau ada kat situ kan?
Ada sepanjang hari.
Kau better be there. Kan? So Haziq selain daripada dia buat kerja percuma jadi moderator podcast tak berbayar, dia juga buat kerja percuma tidak berbayar untuk set up Kesum. Jadi kalau tak sedap pukul dia. Sebab itu orang politik dalam PKR banyak budak-budak dia tak suka kat saya. Because working with me selalunya memang nak mampus.
Betul.
Kena buat 2-3 kerja lepas tu tak dibayar kan. Tengok semua muka senyum.
How do you survive?
Dia ada kerja dia lah. I never believe in full-time politician. Yang budak-budak semua yang dari politik ni, kalau dia datang, dia nak 100% kerja dengan politik jadi pegawai khas, memang kena halang aku. My view about budak-budak yang buat politik ni, you need to have a 9 to 5 job. You buat kerja 9 to 5 job you. At the same time, malam kerja kau buat ni, weekend kena buat semua ni. Memang girlfriend marah lah. But
tak ada.
In your case memang tak ada girlfriend, tak ada orang ada girlfriend kau lah kan. But I think that's where you learn the independence. Supaya hidup itu satu tak bergantung pada politik, you ada your day job. Kedua, the ability untuk juggle 2-3 tanggungjawab. Ketiga, if you really want to be politician, public service ni doesn't pay. So you better learn daripada awal. Buat kerja ni memang tak ada duit. Cuma selalunya dia orang kalau tak berhati-hati, dia hilang lah. So esok kau ada okay. Basuh pinggan esok.
Basuh pinggan. Baik. Baik YB. Okay, kita ke next lah. I think ini
ini cerita berat.
Highlight of the podcast lah. Drama ART. Dan yalah, saya rasa banyak dekat komen yang walaupun dia kata saya penyokong YB, tapi saya tak setuju.
Aku rasa itu disusun lah.
Disusun
sebab selepas yang Malaysia Kini dedahkan, Malaysia Kini buat operasi dia
ada operasi.
Dia panggil apa ni, dia ada term dia sendiri, coordinated unethical behaviour ke apa dia, unauthentic behaviour, coordinated unauthentic behaviour lah kan. So tengok macam adalah kan, dia orang ni pun tak cerdik. Lain kali kalau nak buat macam itu, dia tak boleh lah pakai copy paste, pakai benda yang sama kan. But banyaklah, terutama selepas Zafrul jawab, banyaklah yang saya nak bagi, because I think banyak yang telah diulas lah kan. Sebab ramai orang duk tanya macam mana Zafrul kata macam ni, orang ni kata macam ni. Sebelum saya bagi kepada Dr. Rais untuk goreng sampai habis kan. Yalah, setakat inilah kan, jawapan kerajaan itu sebenarnya bersandarkan kepada satu asas saja, iaitu trust me bro. Bab tu aku bimbang. Zafrul pun kata trust me bro, ini kita buat ni kita akan boleh tu. Gobin pun kata trust us, semua ialah kepada penyokong kerajaan. Sentimen trust me bro ni boleh lah kan. Sebelum saya jawab pasal Cambodia, pasal yang lain tu kan, cuma dari segi teknik dan strategi menangani kebimbangan rakyat ini, saya rasa kerajaan kena lebih sophisticated daripada trust me bro. Sekarang ni trust me bro kan. Jadi masalah kerajaan lah sekarang ni, kalau berkaitan dengan perjanjian ini, teks perjanjian tu ada. Jadi orang baca. Jadi bila orang baca, dia secara jelas sebut satu-satu, dan logiknya ialah kita kata, jangan kira semua tu sebab kami hebat, kami boleh. Kalau ada semua itu, nanti bila kita runding, kita boleh runding. Orang kata kalau kamu boleh runding dengan baik, tak adalah jadi macam tu in the first place. Dan sekarang ini dah tulis, cast in stone perjanjian. You want us to believe that kalau US mula tekan menggunakan perjanjian itu, you will be able to manage it. Itu saya rasa where government misses the point. Dan kalau tengok kepada soal perjanjian tarif ni kan, ialah pembangkang memanglah kerja dia membangkang. Dia sebutlah ini, itu, sebagainya kan. Tapi the disquiet tu bukan hanya pembangkang, tak disquiet, dia bising kan. Tapi yang saya lagi bimbang ialah the disquiet di kalangan rakyat biasa. Sebab dia baca, kalau perjanjian tu tak ada, dia hanya jawapan di parlimen semua, bolehlah kerajaan kata begini-gini, then we take it at face value. Isu dia word by word benda tu ada. Tambah pula bila orang banding kan, then I don't think they should take that approach. Jangan ambil pendekatan trust me bro ni, kerana saya tak rasa itu berjaya menjawab lah. Okay, now before saya bagi kepada Dr. Rais kan, pandangan saya lah kan, I wonder lah, kalaulah kita tak bundle perjanjian ini dengan ASEAN, mungkin keadaannya lain. Orang tanya saya, alah YB, you bising lah. So apa solution you? Kalau saya masih ada dalam kabinet dan saya kalaulah dimaklumkan ini adalah perkara-perkara yang US minta, tak ada orang persoalkan kita dipaksa berunding semua ni. Tak ada orang. Mesti bukan dipaksa berunding, lebih kurang lah dipaksa berunding, sebab dia dah umumkan tarif tu, nak tak nak kalau kita tak runding nanti tarif jadi 25%. Jadi kita terpaksa lah, lebih kurang kan. Jadi cuma if I was in the cabinet lah, you know, pandangan saya begini, kalau terms ini ialah terlalu keras dan kita perlukan to and fro lagi lama kan, what is the necessity untuk menandatangani secepat mungkin? Sebab kenapa perjanjian itu ditandatangani secepat itu, sedangkan dalam ASEAN ini hanya Malaysia dengan Cambodia saja yang hanya sign, sebenarnya majoriti negara lain masih lagi berunding. Sebabnya ialah, tekaan saya lah, dia telah dibundlekan together dengan persetujuan Trump untuk datang ke ASEAN. So that would be, kalau orang tanya saya, YB, apa yang you akan buat berlainan? That would be the thing yang saya kata. If it takes Trump tak datang ke ASEAN untuk kita boleh runding lebih lama, then tak apa, Trump tak datang ke ASEAN. It doesn't take the shine of ASEAN. Malaysia sebagai chairmanship of ASEAN, if the price is kita tanda tangan ini untuk mendapatkan Trump datang, I think saya akan ada reservation. Itu yang pertama lah kan. Yang kedua, time is of the essence. Dia kembali kepada soal kenapa kita nak sign cepat. Sebab di US soal tarif ni tak selesai lagi.
Betul.
Kongres, Senate dengan Kongres sekarang ini, Senate mengundi untuk membatalkan tarif. And Republican pun mengundi sekali dengan Demokrat. Jadi sedangkan benda tu masih lagi duk pumpang-pumpang di US yang mengatakan bahawa Trump tidak ada kuasa untuk buat benda ini, kita pergi sign awal.
Federal Court.
Dan yang terbaru, Supreme Court. US Supreme Court. Supreme Court sekarang ini is very heavily conservative, penyokong Trump. Tapi Supreme Court pun gayanya tidak bersetuju dengan Trump.
Betul.
So sekarang ini tanda-tandanya ialah tarif yang Trump buat ini di US sendiri pun kena reverse. Jadi I wonder, mungkin negara lain yang tidak terhegih-hegih nak sign ni, dia pun tahu let it run its course kerana midterm is coming. Dan Trump is now the most unpopular president berbanding the last one, even banding dengan Obama pun. Well, Obama was popular.
Biden.
First term dia, he is more unpopular now. Even banding dengan Biden, Biden more popular than him. He's minus 18% sekarang going to midterm. Then the last 1 week, gubernatorial punya election, mayor punya election, semua Demokrat sapu. Jadi if kita tahu bahawa benda ni tak settle, then Trump is paying political cost di US sekarang. Is it not that is in our best interest not to rush into it? And the reason, sekali lagi, kita rush into it most probably because of ASEAN, sebab nak Trump datang kan. Dan kemudian adalah Zafrul kata kan, I think saya ada masalah lah dengan jawapan Zafrul di parlimen, kemudian jawapan Zafrul selepas itu menjawab beberapa perkara. Saya kata kita kena lebih transparent dalam jawapan kita. You know, strategi komunikasi kerajaan sekarang, macam saya sebut, berkaitan dengan tarif ini, terlalu memikirkan bahawa kita semua ni ular lidi, macam Ustaz Hadi kata. Maksudnya kita tak faham ni. Jadi bila contohnya dia bagi contoh lah kan, seolah-olah aku bodoh lah kerana membandingkan Cambodia. There are two ways of looking at it kan. Dia kata lah Cambodia ni negara miskin. Kalau aku jadi Cambodia aku marah betul lah. Selamba je kau basically kau kata Menteri Malaysia kata kita ni negara miskin, jadi tak apalah US bully pun tak apalah kan. Ataupun US ni bagi affirmative action kepada Cambodia. Itu yang disebut kan lebih kurang kan. You see, the other perspective is this. Macam mana sebuah negara seperti Cambodia yang memang betul interest ekonomi dia tu sangat tidak berpengaruh berbanding dengan Malaysia. Cambodia is not as entrenched and integrated dalam supply chain dengan US. But they still have the dignity to put their feet down and cakap not when it transgress our sovereignty. Dia macam beginilah orang kaya dengan orang miskin kan. Orang miskin tu nampak ada lagi maruah daripada orang kaya. That is the perspective yang saya rasa Zafrul tak nampak tau. Jadi bila dia kata jangan perbandingan ni salah, Malaysia ni negara maju, negara kaya, Cambodia dapat macam itu, dan sebab kononnya lah US tak pandang sebelah mata lah, dia ni tak penting. That's not true. That is kedaulatan. The fact that whatever we are, tak kisahlah kita ni miskin ke kaya, we will stand our ground. Kan? And if Cambodia can do it, and Cambodia is not even entrenched or not that important to US berbanding kita. Take us for example kan. We ship at least 13% of semiconductor to US. US punya supply chain depends quite a lot to us. We are quite important to US in many ways in this region. To balance our strategic location, Selat Melaka, and to Muslim world. Takkanlah kita langsung tak ada leverage dengan US. We have leverage. And kita import a lot daripada US, terutamanya data center, services semua. Because this is, one of the top countries di ASEAN as far as US is concerned. Jadi takkanlah dengan segala yang kita ada itu, kita tak ada leverage dengan US. So those are the things yang saya ingat saya tidak bersetuju lah dengan penjelasan Tuku Zafrul tu. And then we have to be careful dengan the number and be transparent. Zafrul kata berjuta orang akan hilang kerja kalau kita tak sign ni. Tak betul. So ambil contoh daripada 25% tarif kepada 19%, ada pengurangan 6% tarif kan. Kemudian dia sendiri juga telah nyatakan lah, saya ingat dalam jawapan dia kan, yang diberi pengecualian itu ada 1,711 line items yang kita tak tahu pun lagi. Yang jumlah volume ekspornya ialah sebanyak $5 billion lebih kurang, which is about 20 billion ringgit lah. Itu tak termasuk dengan chip. Our annual export semiconductor ke US lebih kurang 60 billion. Jadi kalau you ambil 20 billion campur 60 billion, maksudnya ekspor yang dilindungi melalui perjanjian ini ialah 80 billion. Itu pun kita tak sure lagi sebab kita tak tahu lagi pasal semiconductor ni tau. PM kata setakat ini positif. Tapi dalam tu tak ada definitif. And line item yang 1711 tu tak ditunjukkan dalam appendix ke mana. Maksud tak ada. Tak ada. I check, maksudnya kita sedang menunggu sebenarnya US bagi senarai 1711. Ke dah ada dekat appendix tu?
I saw that. If you have to click yang blue line at the bottom part of the agreement tu, it will bring you to 427 pages. Dalam tu ada items.
Ada items. Okay. But okay. Let's go back to 80 billion tadi kan. Yang saya nak jawab yang Zafrul kata, kalau kita tak sign ni, jobs will be lost. Millions of jobs
that's
lost.
That's not true.
So katakanlah 80 billion itu, kita kekal 25% tarif, bukan 19 yang kita sign ni kan. So 6% price high lah untuk barang Malaysia kan. Katakanlah it reduce our competitiveness by about 20%. Itu pun daripada 6% price difference, basically kita hilang 20% market share lah. Even then it's not necessarily true because we are so entrenched in the supply chain. But katakanlah you ambil 20% lah. That's 20% of 80 billion. So maksudnya it's about the real value of perjanjian ini yang ditangani oleh perjanjian ini ialah okeylah 20 billion each, 16 billion kan. Itulah nilai dia. So kalau ada kesan kepada industri kita, bukannya beratus-ratus bilion ataupun berjuta-juta hilang kerja, tutup kedai macam Zafrul kata, kita akan hilang competitiveness maybe of 20% of our export. So yang itu saya tak nampak kerajaan berterus terang. Dia main fear tactic ni. Ini macam ini nanti millions of jobs lost. And I think the more kita tak transparent mengenai jawapan kita, sebab tu saya kata saya tak bimbang kepada walaun dan walanon. Dia ikut bulat-bulat. Apa yang kalau PAS kata macam tu lah. Ulah lidi lah semua. Kalau walanon cakap macam mana pun dia ikut je. Saya bimbang the thinking middle class and fence sitters. Sebab bila dia baca, bila Zafrul kata akan hilang kerja berjuta-juta, well they know that's not true. Kan? Jadi sebab itu bab ini and I think kerajaan telah cross the line lah dari segi, the rule of thumb is this, sesuatu isu yang jadi isu negara, kalau isu itu berlarutan dan dipersoalkan dan dibincangkan dan kerajaan tidak boleh bagi jawapan yang convincing lebih daripada 2 minggu, basically you've lost it.
Yes.
And I think that's already the case dengan tarif ni. Dia dah berlarutan lebih daripada 2 minggu dah. Lebih banyak soalan yang dibawa, jawapan yang dikeluarkan itu tidak meyakinkan. So I think this one, kerajaan telah pun kalah lah. So they just need to figure out macam mana nak cepat-cepat move on daripada benda ini and pray yang US tidak akan act on it, ataupun di sebelah US nanti sama ada Supreme Court will shoot it down ataupun Congress will shoot it down lah. Because the more it drags, the more kerajaan bagi jawapan-jawapan macam itu, saya rasa the more dia tidak meyakinkan rakyat lah.
Cuma YB dan Datuk Rais, kalau kita tengok yalah dalam komen-komen tu kan, mereka minta YB mungkin menjadi lebih adil sebab ini adalah perjanjian unilateral, dan kita bukannya nak fokus pada benefit semata-mata, tetapi US ada leverage yang tinggi untuk penalize kita. Contohnya Tengku Zafrul kata boleh dikenakan tarif sehingga 100%. Jadi how you respond?
China pun dikurangkan kan, dan saya tak, macam saya sebutlah, kita ada leverage kita. Kalau kenakan tarif 100%, dia akan kacau supply chain US. Kerana banyak parts daripada kita, chips daripada kita, dan dia orang pun jam. Jadi dia mungkinlah boleh ugut kita 30% contohnya. Kalau dia nak ugut kita sampai 40%, itu dah sama dengan China. You know, then
that's a very weak argument.
Sebab itu saya kata itu fear tactic lah. Dan dia tidak menjawab yang saya kata tadi, why rush into it.
Exactly. Dekat Supreme Court sekarang, siapa yang bawa that legal action against Trump and the administration? It's the small and medium sized enterprises. They kata if we do not tackle this problem right now, this will contribute to hyperinflation. Go back to 1930s lah. Kan President Hoover kan he started macam tu juga. And then he lost his election. Great Depression happened because of this tariff tantrum. So likewise, again, for the life of me, sampai sekarang ni, saya juga for 5-6 days I was very quiet. Usually my op-ed tu will come out immediately. Tapi yang ni saya cuba fikir, macam mana ni dah lah kita ahli PKR, so macam mana ni, what is happening really. So I baca one by one disagreement.
That's why kita sebelum kita baca kita okey je. Bila kita baca kita tak okey lah.
Hari YB sebelum baca pun YB okey.
I okey. Tapi bila saya baca kan,
even in the main agreement, there are more than 49 shell, SHAL for Malaysia. For US satu saja, and join US and Malaysia 3. Then I said, mana dia reciprocity dia? Reciprocity maknanya it should be timbal balik. Ini satu balik aja. So that's the problem. And keduanya, when all these numbers are being simply spoken, kita pun boleh ni, tapi the things in the document says otherwise. Let's take an example about 17-18 clauses. I'm not going to go through all the clauses lah, but 17-18 clauses yang perlu kita amend. The good news is that itulah ada juga yang tanya, especially after I wrote the op-ed, and the op-ed, alhamdulillah, the entire media carried it, kecuali one media which reluctantly told me that this one we have to let it go. I said okay, tak apa, understand. So yesterday I had 2 sessions. Satu BRICAP. They asked, BRICAP is apa ni, Bell Road apa benda tu initiative kan, and RCEP and apa semua tu. So we had a discussion. Ini people from China, Korea, Indonesia apa semua. Dia orang tanya, Indonesia especially, and Singapore tanya. I thought, why the heck did you guys sign this? I said, I have no clue. And adalah orang kata begitu begini, but that's hearsay. But I have no clue. And only that, our Deputy Minister of International Trade did say that they negotiated dalam keadaan terpaksa in the forced situation. That's all that I know. But other than that, like rushing it for ASEAN meeting, photo days, blah blah, that's all I do not know. But they say that this is unbecoming and this will put other ASEAN countries in jeopardy, because they will say, hey, Malaysia signed,
kita nak sign.
Founding father of ASEAN signed, why you guys are creating trouble? Satu. Keduanya, later in the afternoon, I was asked to brief a group of, without naming the party, parliamentarian and state assemblymen. And they came, and 2 or 3 of them are ministers even. So I explained. So rata-rata use Zafrul punya argument lah, billionaire. I say, boss, please listen. You said that there are some of the deals that was done before. Let's take Boeing. Sometime in March was announced. And therefore, what is the big deal? We are just putting here. So then I said, mana perginya tata kelola? I.e., we need to do open tender. We have Airbus. We have Boeing. And we also have another alternative that they're completing their flying hours very shortly in China. And some of our companies has gone there to test it, and their feedback has been good. So sekarang ni, because of this agreement, you cannot go into them. You can only buy from this. And remember, Boeing CEO was fired. Why they were fired? Compromising on safety standards, and there were some safety issues related to Boeing, and there are people who are telling they will not fly MAG or Malaysia Airlines because of Boeing. So macam-macam lah. So I asked, because this particular minister was resonating more of what Zafrul has been saying, and then he said, you are insinuating. I said, I'm not insinuating anything. Tunku Abdul Rahman defended Internal Security Act by saying what? It is designed for communist. Betul?
Communist.
Ingat But was ISA used only for communists? No. It is all what is written. And today, you can say that this one we can do apa semua tu, but in the future, they will go back to ni. Today, if you talk about rare earth ataupun nuclear apa semua tu, we are restricted. And we have to consult. Aku kena tanya kau dulu sebelum aku buat apa-apa. Are we not a sovereign country? I thought we got independence in 31st August 1957. What's wrong with you guys, you know? So these are the issues that is being discussed. And you are right, Raf. It is being discussed and in that conference, there were some professors from UM apa semua. Semua tanya same question. Why is the rush? I kata, I cannot answer lah, because I do not know the answer. So, but if the rush is just to accommodate him to, kalau Trump dia bagi satu condition,
most probably dia bagi condition lah. You sign bawa I datang.
But the condition was, that was war-warkan, was Cambodia, Thailand peace treaty must be signed. Walaupun dah sign dulu dah. Ini resign balik. Dia macam yang apa yang Borneo highway tu benda tu. What was the highway? Pen Borneo. That was re-officiated banyak kali kan. So macam tu lah. So that was one condition. Maybe, I said this is hearsay. Maybe for him to come to ASEAN, you sign. So that's the thing. So that's what was the rush. However, I told in the conference and also in this briefing to the MPs and state assemblymen and so on, kata, all is not lost yet. We have a clause. Yalah, AG Chambers came up with this dua perkara kan. Satu dia kata boleh negotiate, satu kita boleh terminate. In my op-ed, I bagi 3. Satu, do nothing, which is not possible. We cannot simply do nothing and agree to this Kunta Kinte agreement. Secondly, invoke clause 7.3 and minta amendment and modification when there's justifiable and reasonable. And number 3, terminate. Terminate is not an option because I do not believe you want. We didn't sign the agreement with Burundi. We signed the agreement with the second largest economy. I always believe China is the largest, second largest economy, and one of the superpowers of the world. You nak main-main dengan dia. Granted, Trump has issues back in the US. Yang Supreme Court is a big issue. Yesterday, I was following live the conversation that is being had in the court. Dia tak bagi nampak muka lah. Dia bagi nampak dia punya live discussion kan. Rata-rata, even the conservative judges are totally against it. And if that is true, and then the government shut down the US, and then the spate of victories of the democracy with Mamdani and that Indian Muslim lady somewhere. So you are rightfully asking the right question. Why the rush? So the answer must be given by these people in power lah. Mengapa perlu kita tanda tangan ini? So katakan now is water under the bridge. Dah tanda tangan. Nak buat apa lagi? Invoke 7.3. Okay. But this time around, assemble a competent team. Legal, subject matter experts in nuclear, in REE, in telecom, semua tu. Relook. First letter must go out to the US mengatakan we are invoking 7.3. We want to amend certain things on justifiable, reasonable ground so that it doesn't contradict our constitution and laws, domestic laws. Itu letters should go. Then assemble this team. I'm not saying, itulah kadang-kadang Zafrul ni very dangerous when he did make a statement saying that civil service. What has that got to do with civil service? You are, the buck stops at you. You know, it's not civil service. Jangan pula throw the civil service under the bus. As far as I know, Raf, you have more experience with civil service. Dia orang ni bijak pandai. I remember when I was in that agency that was running recently, for us to sign an agreement, do you know what is the process? Kita kena conclude the deal. Then bring that agreement to the Ministry of Science, Technology, Innovation, Legal Department. Bila dia dah, and concurrently we send to MOFA, we send to MITI, and on the certain reason, Ministry of Economy. And once all three comes back and say, ini komen kita, kita incorporate, only then we go back and go, boss, this is our ministry standpoint, ini yang kita boleh sign, baru kita sign. Are you telling me, for the life of me, are you telling me this agreement has gone through such scrutiny? Are you telling me that? And in fact, yesterday I asked the minister, two of them were there. I asked, dalam cabinet, do you guys saw the letter by letter, clause by clause, all this agreement as it is?
Okay.
The answer, because I said, 2 or 3 other ministers that I spoke on the phone mengatakan tak. So I asked the question to them. So can you please confirm? Itu dia cakap macam tu lah. Saya tak nak lah cakap gitu. Itu je punya answer. So I until today do not know betul tidak it went through such diligent process. So anyway, sekarang ni water under the bridge kan. So invoke 7.3. Buatlah benda yang betul. Jangan kita terjerat leher kita dengan begini. And yalah, Zafrul have signed this kind of agreement before, which is the single wholesale network 5G tu yang saya lawan betul-betul until the end. Yalah, fellow PKR member now, but
fellow PKR member.
So lawan until ni. Tapi this agreement ni it is not too late still. Kita ada 7.3 tapi correct it. Biarlah benda ni betul. Kalau tidak, Raf, I'm telling you, this is going to impact the elections. Because the middle income Malays, like in Bukit Jelutong semua tu, ataupun ada including the professor, dia tanya, how the heck did we allow this agreement to be signed? Ada seorang, a very senior banker in one of the bank that the colour dia lebih kurang kuning-kuning sikit. He said the same thing. Guys, how did you allow that? Don't blame me, boss. No, how can we sign this? Sebab dia tahu what is agreement. Sebab tu Rafi's right. Agreement kali ni, kita dapat agreement daripada local. Tak ada. All this agreement is downloaded from the White House. And Raf, if you look at the end of the agreement tu, ada satu line biru. That line biru tu you click, all the line items will come. With the annexure. That's how I got the annexure. And annexure ni dia tak tulis apa-apa, dia kata procurement.
Yalah.
So if this is the case, Boeing lah, Petronas lah, itulah, Petronas you know better than me. Are we not an independent country? We don't want to be ending up as a vassal state of another ni kan. So itulah. Tapi yang bagusnya Amerika selalu try to focus on solution. Solution dia kita ada 7.3. Tak payahlah. Let's enter the ego free zone. Tak payah bergaduh-gaduh sana sini. Tak payah Zafrul cakap itu apa semua tu. And again, when I was briefing this parliamentarian and state assemblyman from this particular party, there were about 20 of them. I told them, I'm not here for political narratives. Political narrative, you bolehlah bina macam-macam narrative. I'm here on the agreement. Remember Tengku Abdul Rahman said, ISA is only for communists. But it was used for every other because yang mengganggu gugat negara. Betul? So you sign like this against with a superpower. And then the other thing is that I repeated that many times, Raf. If you look at the market size of the America, berapa dia? 347 million as opposed to the global market of 8.2 billion. It's 4.2%. And out of the 4.2%, according to Harvard study, more than 85% of them are in some form of financial assistance. Maknanya disposable income ni teruk. You know the government server now, government shut down dekat US, 42 million or something. Do you know they do not have food to eat? And people are preparing food in churches and everything to supply food. So why are you so worried about this ni? Kita ada BRICS. Kita ada many other initiatives. So I think our active neutrality that we shout so much, we shout so much about ZOFAN, Zone of Peace, Freedom and Neutrality, can be compromised in this agreement. Because we have 49 shell. 1 shell for US and 3 shell for both of us.
Dia ada part yang ialah Zafrul mengulangi berkali-kali lah supaya jangan bimbang pasal perkataan shell semua ni, jangan bimbang pasal komitmen, kerana 5.1 tu kata dia mestilah berdasarkan kepada shared interest, shared economic concern kan. So saya adalah kawan-kawan yang American. Saya juga ada kawan-kawan yang tak pernah balik Malaysia, duduk kat Washington daripada graduate sampai sekarang lah, dah berpuluh tahun. So I have friends in Washington yang kerja semua ni kan. You know the joke is, my friends selalu cakap lah, you know, if you belong at this American institution semua kan, and all these middle class, upper class di New York, di Washington lah especially kan, they talk about every country as if it's their backyard. So bila Zafrul kata it's only when there is shared concern, anywhere in the world is a shared concern and interest to the US. Grenada pun, bukan Grenada. Apa Grenada ke? Grenada pun is a barren land. Tak pasal-pasal bergaduh dengan Denmark. Greenland. It's not Grenada, Greenland kan. Tak pasal-pasal bergaduh dengan Denmark. Sebab Greenland yang tak ada orang tu pun is their shared concern. Anywhere in the world is their shared concern. Jadi kalau kita nak kata masa tu, sorry, yang ini bukan your shared concern, you have to say no. It is our shared concern. We want this because it is important to us. Masa tu, do you think that we have the strength to say, okay lah, terminated. Kita pun okay lah. Jadi I know the difficulty untuk balance berunding dengan US semua ni not easy. Bukan Zafrul seorang saja pernah merundingkan perjanjian dengan either negara lain ataupun corporation besar yang lain. All of us yang pernah ada pengalaman dan kajian pernah melaluinya. Jadi sebab itu as best as possible you tak nak ikat dalam perjanjian. Because the moment you ikat dalam perjanjian, memang lepas itu your hands are weakened. Sebab dia akan kata, and they would not even blink an eye tau. It is our concern. And this matters to us. You masa tu, but it's not. Yeah, but dalam perjanjian kata when it's a shared concern, you have to do it. Not easy to wiggle our way out. Jadi sebab itu, kalau tengoklah macam Dr. Rais sebut tadi kan, Zafrul kata janganlah hina ataupun pelekehkan penjawat awam kan. Actually my experience lah managing beberapa perjanjian ke apa ni kan, civil service ni semua tak boleh. They are very careful tau. Satu benda yang ni tak boleh. Aku yang kadang-kadang frust macam ni, macam mana nak buat benda yang ni tak boleh, yang tu tak boleh, ini tak boleh kan. Jadi sebenarnya you kena argue dengan civil service ni, dengan peguam negara yang ini bolehlah sikit gini-gini kan. Jadi saya tak rasa lah sebenarnya proses perunding yang merundingkan itu dia setuju, suka-suka dia letak semua tu. Chances are begini, chances are ini terms yang US nak kan, sampai dekat perunding kita most probably tak pernah setujulah. Dia drag kan. Kemudian bawa kepada menteri dan akhirnya kepada Perdana Menteri lah. Sebab masih lagi jadi misteri ni. Sama ada perjanjian word by word ni dibentangkan di kabinet atau tidak. Sebab knowing ministry sama jugalah. Knowing ministry even when I was minister dulu kan. Kalau kita tahu benda ni PM nak sangat ni. Macam mana pun dia akan lepas di kabinet. You know what we will do? Ulasan kita tu panjang lebar tau. Tetapi gini. Basically we have done our job. I know that aku akan kalah dekat kabinet kerana orang lain macam mana PM will get his way ataupun Zafrul will get his way. But it is my duty for my portfolio and my kementerian to basically express tidak bersetuju. I know it will not make a difference, but I put it on record. Kalau perjanjian ini telah go word by word, chances are banyaklah komen macam itu. Yang saya bimbang ialah tak ada word by word kan. Jadi going back kan. Jadi maksudnya disampaikan Zafrul, ini perjanjian kita tak boleh nak bersetuju ataupun we need dalam bahasa civil servant, we need your direction. That's the bit yang saya kata. Kalau perkara ini bersabit ataupun berkait dengan kehadiran Trump, well, the buck is at Zafrul dan juga PM. Because why do you bundle it? Sebab I don't think, for the life of me, I don't think civil servant bersetuju dengan benda ni.
I agree.
I don't think, knowing them, berpeluh.
My experience, my limited experience, not as a minister ke apa, tidak, as a CEO of a GLC, I know the process. Tak ada. And I can give you one, I can also share another example. We have did sign some agreements before with some US entities before I became a CEO there. When I went there, I look at the agreement again. Masya Allah, how can we have committed ourselves to something that we cannot deliver? So I asked for renegotiation. Punyalah payah because we didn't have a clause 7.3 kan dalam agreement tu. But it makes sense to them. Because they are expecting for us to deliver the water, the electricity, apa semua tu within a very short span of time. I'm talking about data centers. Sampai kita nak sikit pergi PMO. Sebenarnya PMO kena panggil je selalu. And then we prepare a report. And this. So I agree with Raf. I strongly feel that this agreement was rushed. And I do not think the agreement went through the full ballistic diligence by the civil service, because I have so high regards about our civil service. They are very, very detailed.
Kadang-kadang aku nak strangle tau. Aku punya, I mean, I'm sure he is watching now lah, you know. we work so well together, my legal team kan. There were times I wanted to strangle them. Strangle aku punya legal team dekat kementerian.
So they are so good.
Dia dengan selamanya YB, yang ini saya nak kena maklumkan tanggungjawab saya. Kita tak boleh setuju. Kau kerja kau sebagai legal advisor aku, semua kau tak setuju. Macam mana aku nak buat kerja? But it's their job. I understand it's their job. So you kena, okay, what's the work around it? What's macam ni? Sebab you nak, but I have never met peguam legal advisor dalam kerajaan ni yang setuju even benda yang mudah. If anything, kadang-kadang kita gaul kepala because I hate this bureaucracy. So for something like this, I don't think any legal guy dalam kerajaan bersetuju tau.
So what I did was macam semalam I told that briefing. I said beginilah. We have 7.3. So we will do it. So what I'll do is I will list out all the problematic clauses, about 18 to 19 clauses, the main agreement. 18 to 19 clauses. Then I will suggest what is the problem associated with that respective clauses. And third, I will suggest how the clause to be amended to overcome the problem. Because we still have 7.3. And I've done a lot of legal vetting in my life, but my doctorate is in finance and econometrics. Tak adalah sangat legal, tapi I've done. I used to work for the American and Canadians, kan, duduk sana, understand their culture, blah, blah, blah. But I've actually gotten 3 lawyers, one very, very senior lawyers, to sit down and come up with a plan. How can we amend this? And then this become our negotiating So that's what I told the parliamentarian and state assemblyman. But even among them ada seorang dua tu quite terbakan dengan Zafrul punya answers. You see, I have nothing personal against anyone, right? To me is this. Kalau is in black and white, cast in paper as it is, and if we do not do anything, we are leaving behind an agreement that our future will be ni. But granted, there are some people who orang kata apa, saying that, but Rais, Trump will be there only for another 3 years, 4 years. And after Trump, maybe the whole thing changed. Why are we so gung-ho? The next 3-4 years ni, a lot of things can happen, boss. And technology these days, let's take an example. Macam di Malaysia, kalau kita nak review curriculum, will take 2 years, 3 years. China, 3 months, 6 months. Because technology moves so fast. Remember AI? AI generative AI, agentive AI, and super intelligence. So fast. Millions in GPU power. So I said we cannot afford this. Then they kata, what about in the US, the Supreme Court is like this, the Congress, the Senate is. Hey boss, you are trying to explain what you did by externalizing the factors. Tak boleh macam tu. You have to sign the agreement based on what is in the best interest of your country. So that was my pitch to them lah. Yang jenis yang orang kata trying to menegakkan benang yang terlampau basah.
I think this goes. Ini jugalah nasihat saya kepada yang menonton. Sebenarnya dia mudah kalau isu tu straightforward secara politik. Maka perkara yang parti kita cakap tu betul, kita sokong lah. Sama macam contohnya lah, bila saya ada berpandangan yang berbeza mengenai perjanjian tarif ni, ada yang maki tak puas hati lah, sebab dia kira ni kenapa tak sokong kerajaan. Masa aku duk lawan 1MDB dulu, korang semua dapat laba, korang tak marah aku pun. Masa podcast ni tiap-tiap minggu lagi banyak hentam PAS tau daripada kerajaan. Masa tu korang happy je, sokong. So kita sebagai masyarakat kena mula membudayakan ada benda kalau kita tak bersetuju, kita tak bersetujulah. Janganlah marah kerana kita tak bersetuju. Dengarlah hujah tu satu persatu. Samalah kalau benda tu baik. Sebelum ini ada yang pasal Fadlina yang I was openly cakap tak boleh lah cerita cerita keganasan sekolah ni semua nak salah Fadlina. Actually there's a bigger issue. Kita sebagai masyarakat pun kena reflect juga. Tapi dalam soal ini I think sesiapa yang dalam kedudukan saya sebagai ahli parlimen yang faham bahasa Inggeris, yang faham perjanjian tu, I don't think saya boleh berdiam dan kata semua bagus. Ada banyak kelemahan itu. Dan kalaulah ahli-ahli parlimen, pimpinan daripada PKR, PA semua cuba nak menutup mata rakyat, that is going to be our downfall nanti. Kerana rakyat akan kata korang ni sama je semua. Benda yang dah terang-terang ada masalah, kau masih nak menegakkan benang yang basah, kan? So what saya ingat yang ini terpulang kepada kerajaan lah, and this will test the leadership of Datuk Seri Anwar when there is an overwhelming concern about this daripada rakyat, kan? Dan dia bukan politik pun sebenarnya, kan? Then whether or not dia akan ambil keputusan untuk renegotiate, then we can only do our part lah. This is as best as we can do. Zafrul tak apa, dia tinggal 2-3 minggu je lagi. Lepas ni dia main badminton sekejap, kan? Jadi dia tak bimbang pasal benda ni semua. But Datuk Seri Anwar, you have to carry this tau. So Zafrul dah okay, dia dah dapat apa yang dia nak semua. Dia dah kekal jadi menteri despite whatever 2-3 kali, kan? Dengan segala masalah, masa jana wibawa lah, macam-macam masalah, single wholesale network lah semua. Dan dia dah continue sampai dia jadi kawan baik Anwar Ibrahim. But Anwar, you have to carry this. Kalau for example you ignore semua ni and you don't go back and renegotiate, then is on your is on your shoulder nanti.
And yesterday one of the minister during the briefing told this. Dia kata kalau it's just a matter of opposition talking about it against this trade, yalah pembangkang kan, opposition talking about it, that's fine. But he is so worried that people like Prof. Jomo, people like all this, then he mentioned my name as well, are against it. And this guy is a PKR member. Of course lah, I did receive a text message from a PKR minister. You have to follow discipline, party discipline.
Kenapa aku tak pernah dapat message tu? Berani dia.
You boss.
Ni siapa Fahmi?
No, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. So party discipline.
Saya tak pernah dapat surat.
So I bagi tahu, tak apalah, because I think as a Malaysian, again boss, when Tun Mahathir didn't want to honour the transition agreement with Anwar, I went public, and at that time I was called as self-proclaimed strategist lah, macam-macam kan, and want to take disciplinary action against me, and only two individual, actually 3 individual came out defending me. One is obviously Tan Sri Muhyiddin, tapi dia tak cakap apa lah, dia more on the phone and then Zaid Hamidi and Datuk Seri Anwar, and Datuk Seri Anwar said this, in PKR we celebrate differing views, different opinions. This is in public, so you Google balik lah masa tu, and then you can see that. So I send that lah. This is what I feel, and kalau nak juga ambil tu pasal lah, what can I do? But as a Malaysian, responsible Malaysian, a citizen who benefited much from Malaysia, I cannot accept this agreement. And this agreement, kalau ada sedikit-sedikit cacat celi tak apa, ini banyak 18-19 courses, boss. So then I told them nothing is lost, we can do 7.3, then I will send you once the lawyers come back, the 3 lawyers boss come back, I will send, and then at least just take that, enter the ego free zone, tak payah defend semua, at least look at it. Kalau boleh diperbetulkan, apa salahnya? Because we have that clause. Yalah, the response was the negotiation with US is not easy. I say yes, but to do nothing is even worse. Itu je lah.
2 hours and 5 minutes.
Kita 2 hours lebih dah.
Kita ke next.
Ada lagi yang keras.
I think berkaitan dengan
ini dah berkaitan lah, kan. Jadi ini yang kita duk sebut tadi lah, bila dia dah masuk dalam perjanjian, walaupun Zafrul kata hanya ia berkaitan dengan shared concern. Yang ini semua share concern. BRICS pun share concern. Jadi Tok Mat dah kena kata ni, kita akan berhati-hati sebelum kita. Jadi
this is very bad.
Cuba bayangkan apa perasaan negara-negara lain memandang kita. Sebelum ini aku yang pergi ke BRICS Summit sebelum itu kan, membaca kenyataan negara kan, depan Putin, depan Xi Jinping semua kan. Jadi dia akan kata, dulu you juga yang bersungguh-sungguh nak jadi anggota BRICS. Dulu you juga yang nak neutral. Dulu you juga yang kata kita akan buat de-dollarization. Sekarang ni kena gertak dengan Trump sikit, terus tak boleh. Actually it's not good for us. Itulah sebabnya kita kata benda ni throw haywire semua dalam dasar sedia ada kita. Saya dah sebut pasal nuklear kan. Kita dah memang secara terbuka kata kita akan agnostik, cari yang terbaik. Bagi contoh, kalau lepas ni China can prove that molten salt nuclear jalan, nganga kita. Okay, tak apa, nanti kita bincang panjang lah pasal molten salt nuclear reactor ni kan, in the future lah. But and they have proven on prototype that it can work. So kalau molten salt nuclear reactor China pull it off, and that is going to change humanity tau. Dengan that technology kan, we are cut off. Jadi belum apa-apa, I know the ambassador, he's a good friend, I know him, dia buat kerja dia lah sebagai duta US lah kan. Tetapi bila dah ada perjanjian ni, memang segala benda yang Malaysia nak buat ni boleh jadi shared concern. Dan ini yang terawal lah dilihat.
Tok Mat really said this?
Yes, semalam dekat Parlimen. Jawab soalan Wan Mat Faisal. Yes.
Because if you compare, as I said just now, 347, 8.2 billion, 4.2%, 85% financial assistance, and then you look at the BRICS country, they are in terms of GDP 45-47%, in terms of the global, in terms of population is more than 4.2 billion. I mean, that part I saw. That part I didn't know. I didn't know.
Ini ada jawapan kepada soalan Wan Faisal Macang mengenai kesan kepada BRICS lah.
Okay. Kita ada politik sikit.
Yang ini yang inilah kita serahkan kepada Dr. Rais.
Bersatu berdamai. Doktor, kalau boleh check sikit, sebab sebelum ni memang dikatakan Tan Sri Muhyiddin dah lost command, tapi bila keluar macam ni, suddenly civil war yang dah lama ni stop. Jadi based on your observation, macam mana benda ni boleh berlaku? Sama ada Muhyiddin dah dapat command parti semula ke, ada camp yang dah berjaya dimusnahkan ke, ataupun ada arahan tertentu, arahan terbaru daripada tuan atau master kepada Trojan Horse dalam Bersatu?
Okay, what I know lah, because I'm not involved directly anymore dengan Bersatu. But nanti senang lah orang fikir kata ini betul Tan Sri Muhyiddin punya orang. But anyway, Tan Sri Muhyiddin, as I said, is a very stable person. He doesn't react. Dia tak mudah melata ke apa. He'll just watch apa semua tu. Of course, there are essentially three sort of camps.
Ada three.
Three. Satu, you have the Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. These are the organic camps and so on lah. Yang mula-mula dulu establish the party. Then you have the second camp, who is the Hamzah Zainuddin. So then you have the third camp is your former colleague Azmin. So dia ada tiga ni. So Tan Sri Muhyiddin, I think does command. I mean, he has done a lot. In fact, before the Bersatu was formed, Tun Mahathir was not orang kata apa, agreeable to form a party at that time. 2015, 2008. Memang dia tak menjurus kepada penubuhan parti yang baru. Tan Sri Muhyiddin was. So we waited about 6 months later when all his attempt, the signature campaign, pergi jumpa sultan-sultan apa semua tu, semua fail. Only then there was one night I was called for the meeting, 5 orang.
Okay.
So Tan Sri Muhyiddin's house. So Tan Sri Muhyiddin, Tun Mahathir, Shafi Abdal, Mukris, and myself. I don't know why I was called. I'm not a politician, but I was called. So we went. So we had a meeting. So before Tun Mahathir sat down, impeccably sharp on time again, and then he said, looks like you are right, Rais, we need to form a party. And I kata, okay, if that is the agreement, so let's work on the constitution, this, that, blah, blah, blah. At that time, we already have. In fact, the party name was never Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia. It was some other name. Reform and Justice Party. Nice. And the party name was given by Tan Sri Muhyiddin. So he initiated all this party from scratch. And Tun Mahathir supported it. And then that night, there was a discussion of chairmanship and presidency. So I said, dua nahoda tak boleh. So I suggest, can we do president, who's Tan Sri Muhyiddin, because he's going to run the entire show. Tun Mahathir become penasihat. So then his question was, kalau penasihat, nasihatnya tak diterima macam mana? Just like what Dato' Sri Najib did. So that's what then finally I remember Tan Sri Muhyiddin kicked my leg. I was sitting beside him. Then I kept quiet. Then of course everything happened lah. So Tan Sri Muhyiddin has a rich history in apa namanya Bersatu, and this history is known to. And then there's somebody called Dr. Marzuki. And Dr. Marzuki ini, I think he's a very intelligent academician, and he is one of the person who really gives inputs. Not every time Tan Sri listens, but his feedback is important, right? So during my time there as a chairman of strategy and DASA, that's what I found out, and so we work together closely. So that's Tan Sri punya ni. Then you have Hamzah Zainuddin who came after the election, apa semua tu, and then rose to prominence, and then he got some influence within the party, and basically the UMNO, the former UMNO punya ni lah. And then you have the Azmin. And Azmin also came with the bank and bring a lot of his team, and so this is the tiga ni lah. Tapi macam Tan Sri ni, he likes to be very, orang kata apa, follow through a certain way of doing things. Dia tak suka diserga-serga, tak suka di macam ni. So the attempt made by even though Dato' Sri Hamzah Zainuddin says many times he didn't do anything, saya loyal apa semua tu, tapi all his stalwarts below him, chief
but
among
these people used to be Tan Sri Muhyiddin.
Yeah.
Kan?
So
one Saiful, one Faisal.
One Saiful, he's quite a Machiavellian politician. So when he says something, it's not neat. So a lot of the things, even I'm the one who brought one Saiful into Bersatu anyway. So I realized this a little bit later, that is quite Machiavellian, and not wrong, because a lot of politicians are Machiavellian anyway. Tun Mahathir is a good example of a Machiavellian, extraordinary. So I think they see that maybe Tan Sri is slowing down, and then they always invoke PAS. Pakai PAS punya nama like no other. For instance, the decision to appoint Dato' Sri Hamzah Zainuddin as the Ketua Pembangkang, it is not entirely PAS. Because Tan Sri has his own view, and he felt that Hamzah can provide that leadership as in the parliament. Remember, Hamzah's strength is not a leadership strength. His strength is operator. He is a par excellente operator. He can do a lot of things, right? So that's why he was, and then in agreement with the PAS. PAS also agreed to that. So sekarang ni, when Wan Saiful and Wan Faisal keeps talking a lot about things and so on, which in Tan Sri Muhyiddin's view is dia betul-betul tak suka orang yang tidak mempunyai adab yang betul. Differing views tak apa. I remember I was writing against 5G like no other when he was the Prime Minister. Dia tak cakap apa pun pada saya. Adalah panggil sekali dua kali, hey, what's happening? I explain it's a scam. Tetapi dia tak ada macam tu. But when these guys, they go around like collecting SDs and this, that, it is quite so. And then now they have started attacking all the people, the president's men, so to speak. Dr. Marzuki, apa semua tu. Macam Ainon tu memang, even me, I did not have a good relationship with that person. But Dr. Marzuki is different. Dia pun banyak adabnya tinggi, halus, and cara dia different of views pun lain kan. So when these things are happening in Bersatu, I think Tan Sri took the normal way lah, the more difficult way, i.e., okay, disciplinary action, this, that, blah, 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 and do the necessary. So Wan Saiful, as I said lah, Machiavellian, and he did not, as he tries to profess that he wants to save the party, he wants to do this. God knows what his intentions are. Right? But the way that he's doing to Tan Sri Mohideen, after Tan Sri Mohideen was critical and pivotal in his political career. Likewise for Wan Saiful, Wan Faisal. Wan Faisal was no one. When Sadiq was there, I mean, I used to say Sadiq will have him for lunch or even breakfast. And that is how good Sadiq is compared and relative to siapa nama ni, Wan Faisal. And at that time, Tan Sri provided all the ni. So you are right. They are the people ni. Tapi begitulah, nampak ada some alignment lari sikit, ada potential apa semua tu. Let's latch on the operator. So I do not know exactly. I can only tell you what I've experienced myself at that time, and some of the things that I get back. Macam Dr. Marzuki, at one time he was very, very upset with me because I write in op-eds, especially after the GE 15, when I explain how almost they become the government, almost, and how they won a lot of seats based on data science and economics, not hearsay ke apa tidak. So, but these guys are all jenis yang ada adab, ada cara halus ni kan. And Tan Sri Mohideen pun, dia tak mudah melatah. You cakap lah apa yang nak cakap. I'm not talking about anything other than that. In terms of politics, dia memang tak mudah melatah. And that's why I don't rule him out.
Yeah, but okay, coming back to this kan, Bersatu Berdamai ni kan, dia sebenarnya jadi ialah interest masyarakat ni atas dua perkara yang berlaku. Satu, SD tu kalau dilaporkan is about 80% of bahagian. I think about 100 plus tau, yang 120 yang sign kan, 120 yang sign. Kemudian MP baru ni yang Saifuddin Abdullah sebut semua tu, surat MP tu is 16-17. Jadi maksudnya whatever Tan Sri Mohideen is, at least di mata rakyat dan di mata orang lain, sebenarnya dia dah hilang command parti ni. Kalau Hamzah yang operator boleh berjaya dapatkan lebih 120 SD minta dia hand over kepada Hamzah. Kalau MP daripada yang ada 20 lebih ni 16 and some yang kata tak sign tu pun kononnya bersetuju juga. I think dia sebut Putrajaya. So how is he going to navigate this?
The SD, what I was told, is essentially not to ask him to go. It is more like asking him to define the transition. So define the transition. So bukannya ask him to go. The MP sebenarnya lain sikit. There's a combination of two factors, transition and ask him to give way to Hamzah. I think that is because motivated by Azmin punya move. You know how.
So maksudnya yang memecat Wan Saiful dengan WAF ni ialah Azmin.
Well, they went through the disciplinary committee, and during my time there, the disciplinary committee is very, very impartial, and I do not know how and who is the chairman.
Ya, sekarang ni Razimanan, who is
Razimanan, the former Perak
Pak Mentua
Peja.
kepada Peja.
Yeah. So okay, so last time it was different person.
Last time Megat Najmuddin.
He's very strict.
Ustaz Harun tu?
Itu lembaga rayuan. Yang
that was
dilantik.
recently ni. So I do not know how impartial whatever, but there is a disciplinary process. Tapi to go out and whack the president macam tu, I mean, difference of opinion exists, boss. Parti mana yang tidak pernah bergolak? Every party bergolak.
They would say the same thing about me whacking Anwar Ibrahim.
But you did not. You were
Did I?
No. See, you have a differing views.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And boss, I followed through your journey during the election campaign, and I tried my best to see what can be done. I even articulated the view that there should be a deputy president too, or deputy president, one more deputy president, because both of you, I mean, Raf has his incredible strength, Izzah has a strength, so it will fortify the party. So although I'm said that I am potentially cannot be trusted in PKR, but I was thinking from that perspective. That's why I texted you on your, not on the WhatsApp, on the normal SMS, and I was clear saying that party comes first. So in this case, I think one Saiful and one Faizal overstep dia punya tulah and want to fast track benda-benda ni, and then they went on Zaid Ibrahim podcast. I saw all that. I got a shock of my life the way he was speaking, right? I mean, come on, there must be some decorum. You didn't speak about Datuk Sri Anwar like that. You did not.
Depends who you ask, of course.
No, at least officially, when I see your podcast and this and that, I follow. But I didn't see it that way, right? But ni very disrespectful. So I think probably they deserve what they.
So
they have.
What is going to happen? Okay, sekarang ni nampak macam MPT yang terakhir nampak macam ada ceasefire. Tapi dia akan kembali kepada soal Wan Saiful dengan Waf, kan? Maksudnya diorang ni apa yang akan berlaku pada mereka itu akan jadi spark lah. Jadi dia sampai ke lembaga rayuan. Jadi kalau lembaga rayuan bersetuju untuk mereka dipecat, that is not going to calm the water, kan?
I think there are two individuals that you're talking about now, one Saiful and one Faizal. I'm not in Bersatu, if I were there, this what I will try to do. Okay, one Saiful ni have burned his bridge quite extensively. One Faizal ni still young and potential maybe reduction of the suspension to from 1 year to certain period of time.
Dia digantung lama mana? Setahun.
So maybe and then there will be a rediscussion on the transition plan. And if I were Bersatu again, I will say that to face the elections, the forthcoming elections, either next year or the year after next, you need someone who can lead the group. And who do you see in PAS? So somebody was talking about Dr. Ahmad Samsuri. Who do you see in Gerakan? Nobody. Who do you see in other parties? Who do you see in MCA? Tak ada. Who do you see in MIC? Tak ada. Thinking that these guys will join them. And who do you see in Bersatu? Hamzah is good, but operator. He is known for being an operator, but behind the scene, apa semua tu memang very suave. But the one who can provide the leadership. So I think there will be, hopefully, I don't know whether the ceasefire is the Gaza type ceasefire or a ceasefire that has some permanence, and they can come to the table and discuss among themselves. Okay, we've done it. Now we know siapa dia. For Saifuddin Abdullah too, I was shocked to see Saifuddin. I know him for a long time, since my university days. He was the assistant registrar in the University Islam when I was a student in UIA dulu. Right? So I know him for a very long time. But for him to come and say so aggressively like that, tak ada duit parti, sometimes it's the truth lah. So you cannot you cannot operate party based on just money. During my time in Bersatu, we have to fork out our own monies. You know, I still remember the many things that we did that we use our own money, my own money. We never like laba politik lepas tu. I was appointed as a MDEC chairman, but 8,000 ringgit per month. Do you know what was my salary in 1997, 98? Almost $250,000 a month working for a Canadian company. So there is no laba. Even in Meranti, I probably was the cheapest CEO in Malaysia because of the salary level. And keduanya, when they wanted to do increment and bonus, I said no.
Cuma okay, it's like, you know, yalah, kita yang biasa dalam parti politik, kemudian biasa dengan Azmin, memerhatikan Hamzah dengan yang lain semua ni kan, saya tak yakin ceasefire ni tau. Okay, so satu soalan pertama kan, bukan soalan pertama lah, I mean key questionnya ialah kenapa Hamzah Datuk Seri Hamzah dengan kumpulan dia, kenapa mereka merasakan sangat terdesak that leadership tu mesti berubah sekarang? Because most probably because of pilihan raya. Somehow dia sangat yakin bahawa kalau Tan Sri Muhyiddin kekal memimpin Bersatu, maka peluang untuk PN menang kurang. Ataupun Hamzah mungkin merasakan bahawa PN peluang untuk menang sangat tinggi, jadi inilah peluang untuk jadi PM. So either way, the focus masih lagi untuk menukar kepimpinan untuk masuk PRU 16. So satu kan. Kedua, faction, I suppose Tan Sri Muhyiddin ni orang mungkinlah generally sebagai orang tua dalam parti founder yang lain boleh terima. But the divide di antara faction Azmin dengan Datuk Seri Hamzah tu sangat besar, and I don't know, knowing Azmin ke apa, I think irreconcilable. Payah nak tutup. Kalau tutup pun sementara Tan Sri Muhyiddin adalah. But Hamzah akan tengok Tan Sri Muhyiddin sebagai pelindung Azmin, and Azmin pun akan kata Muhyiddin is my pelindung. So either way, I must support Tan Sri Muhyiddin untuk berada di situ selama-lamanya, which is not acceptable to Hamzah. So how do you get out of this mess?
You see, that's a very interesting thing.
Best aku jadi moderator tanya soalan. Selalunya aku kena jawab.
But it is interesting that these dynamics are there. So Tan Sri Muhyiddin is here and these two guys are here. And sometimes you are in an enviable position to manage through these issues lah. Azmin ni what I see in him lah, masa dulu my engagement dengan masa dia dekat PKR dulu pun, most of our Pakatan Harapan meeting pun dia tak attend. If you remember,
he disagreed. Dia menentang sepenuhnya Pakatan Harapan ni.
And you remember correctly when the announcement of Tun Mahathir as the Prime Minister candidate, all his team walked out of the convention center. Izzah was sitting beside me at that point of time. It was not easy for her. She was crying. But all that I'm trying to say, in this case, Tan Sri Muhyiddin ni, I still feel, but this is my own feel. So you have these two people who are vying to become the next. And you have this. And both of them cannot agree. And if one of them goes up, they will go after the neck of the other guy. So both of them now understand, I need this person to provide the stability. I think that is what is going to happen. So there will be a ceasefire, however ni apa semua tu, and then there are some outliers lah, like Wan Saiful, and I think Wan Faizal will come back somehow through whatever. Wan Saiful is a little bit more difficult because he went without take no prisoner attitude, and the way he went ballistic when if you look at Hamzah, even at the interview yang dia bagi baru ni dekat BFM tu, he was very very orang kata apa, when the baton is ready and baton wants to be passed, tapi dia tak kata I don't want the baton now. Dia tak cakap apa-apa. Dia kata when the baton ready apa semua tu. So my view is that Tan Sri is in this position. And yes, our numbers also show that there are some angst and anger among the middle income Malays, even in urban setting. Selangor is at stake. So kalau gitu, why rock the boat now? Maybe push for a transition agreement not a one-sided agreement like this, but a reciprocal agreement to take care of all those two others, and then take it from there. I think that is what probably Tan Sri will do. This guy, Tan Sri is tak mudah melata. He will take it slowly and then he has good. Again, he is also like many other prime ministers, always surrounded and ring fenced by some people. Dia pun ada. Tapi he does have people like Dr. Marzuki. Dr. Marzuki is quite sensible person, and he, if you notice, even his writings apa yang baru ni, he has been writing in that direction, I think. So, and that is not good for who? It's not good for the existing administration, provided the existing administration wake up and do the right thing. Kalau nak kata lepas election, again, UMNO, I've said this many times publicly, officially, whatever, they are not going, they will say, they're already invoking right now. Akmal Saleh is one of the manifestation of such thing, but they're already invoking that many times now, saying that kita tidak form a coalition with Pakatan Harapan. We are in the government unity at the behest of the Tunku Sultan, the YDPA, and that's it. And with these reported possibilities, Khairi Jamaluddin and Syahril Hamdan coming back to UMNO, so UMNO will want to chart their own way, and then after election they will decide lah what to do. Siapa ada yang paling banyak nombor apa semua tu. So I think the next election is going to be quite any, and with Zohran Mamdani punya victory juga, possibly they also give some ideas to independent candidate. In the history of Malaysia, seorang saja yang pernah menang gitu, Syarif Samad dah. Yang selain daripada tu, independent selalunya Sabah, Sarawak. Again, Sabah, Sarawak is totally different dynamics and mechanism. Dekat sini lain. So in Peninsula ni lain sikit. So independent staff. But with Mamdani punya victory ni, maybe people start thinking we need somebody who's smiling, who talks the right thing, making New York affordable again for the many.
That's Izzah dah ada pun.
Well,
yalah, you jangan smiling. Betul lah kan. Sorry, okay. I like to pull people's legs.
YB cuma dalam posting YB ada kata nak sambung cerita tentang Trojan Horse.
Tak payah aku, dah malam kau gila dah. Dah 2 jam setengah.
Trojan Horse dekat mana?
Tak adalah. Sekarang serangan kepada Azmin ialah dia ni Trojan Horse kan. Tapi saya dah jawab dulu. I mean, if you put yourself, kalau kita berada di dalam kedudukan anggota Bersatu yang tidak bersetuju dengan Azmin lah, mereka akan katalah dulu ada kes Safe House, apa jadi. Kemudian yalah, ada berita kata ada laporan yang mengesahkan video, berita tu dah ada, kenapa tidak ambil tindakan. Jadi dia akan jadi logik lah. Perkara itu akan terus mengheret Bersatu lah. Yang sebab tu saya tak yakin macam mana factional ni boleh diselesaikan dalam keadaan
not easy
itu.
And that issues, especially the first issue, was prevalent during Pakatan Harapan 1.0. Masa tu tak cakap apa pula. Wan Saiful tak cakap apa pula. So why suddenly now? So the sincerity ni kita boleh start thinking lah, and you need to reflect on that. So itulah politician ni kadang-kadang they are diapers tau. Need to change.
Bagus lah. Kalau tak ada semua ni, macam mana kita nak cari point untuk podcast?
Kasih Wan Saiful dan kawan-kawan. Baik, itu saja untuk Hidup Ni Keras. Kita ada segmen yang
kita nak sambung ke? Dah 2 jam setengah.
Maybe kalau last Zohran Mamdani sikit, kalau nak
boleh je minggu depan ke apa semua. Tak mati. Sebab kalau saya jadi penonton sekarang, aku dah baling.
Yalah, paling lama lah so far.
Dah lama. Sebenarnya ini politician lah, dia salahkan penonton. Sebenarnya aku nak balik. Gila dah lama ni kan. Kita jumpa minggu depan lah.
Baik.
Kan.
Itu je lah.
Kita boleh salah sebab kita bincang panjang tadi pasal perjanjian dan pasal itu. And I think sebab ialah Dr. Rais dengan pengalaman yang ada tu, that adds value more to that lah daripada yang
we did spoke about Mam Dani anyway.
Kita pun kita
sebab saya check social media setiap hari share 7 ke 8 tentang
dan saya ingat semua orang duk Google Mam Dani sekarang, semua dia dah tahu banyak lah kan.
I like the guy, the way dia punya campaign tu is very good. I think there's something that we can learn.
Cuma kita orang tak boleh rap dia boleh rap kan.
Betul.
Okay kot lah.
Okay YB, thank you so much Datuk Dr. Hussein Rais Hussein.
Kau apa dah malah. Kalau ya pun esok nak pergi buka kedai.
Saya tak sabar nak cuci pinggan. Thank you so much.
Alright, thank you.
Kita jumpa lagi Datuk, InsyaAllah. Kepada yang lain, tolong share. Dan esok seawal 9 pagi datang beramai-ramai ke Kesum di Pantai Indah.
Letih ni tau.
Ya, memang letih YB. Tapi okey YB, itu saja. Terima kasih Datuk, terima kasih YB. Kita jumpa lagi minggu depan. Selamat malam.
الذي